crisis.
We are going to find solutions on the water issue in Johannesburg, and we'll continue to call on our communities. One, we're going to be very hard on illegal connection. It's unacceptable. It's contributing to the challenges of the water problems that we're having currently.
It's the start of a testing week for police, with the commission established to probe corruption in the SAPS set to kick off in Pretoria on Wednesday. The commission, set up by President Cyril Ramaphosa, comes more than 2 months after KZN Police Commissioner Clement Manyathela made damning allegations of corruption in the country's criminal justice system. Mkwanazi's expose triggered parliamentary debates, a presidential address and immense public scrutiny, as well as a political fallout. But 4 months prior to addressing the public, Mkwanazi addressed Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Police about his concerns of political interference in the SAPS. Oren Singh takes a look back at that parliamentary briefing.
On March 5th, KZN top cop Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi told MPs on the Police Portfolio Committee he felt the decision to disband the contested political killings task team was politically motivated.
There's a case that they are assisting investigating in Gauteng, a case that involves very senior police officers, and that is part of what is causing the chaos in the South African police service.
By then, Mkhwanazi had already named a Northwest businessman, Brown Mogotsi, as someone who was interfering in police matters, alleging he was an associate of Police Minister Senzo Mchunu. Mchunu, who was later placed on special leave, denied the claims.
I'm no associate to the person that General Mkhwanazi is referring to.
Senior police sources claim there is more to Mkhwanazi's allegations, describing SAPS as a pawn on the political chessboard. Oren Singh, Eyewitness News.
ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa has again admitted that the party must take stronger action against corrupt councillors as public trust remains at stake. At the weekend, the party's National Executive Committee convened in Boksburg to evaluate the state of local government. Part of the ANC's assessment is that many of the challenges in municipalities stem from political leaders who lack the necessary skills and qualification to perform their jobs. Ramaphosa says local government will continue to face challenges unless parties deploy the most skilled leaders to municipal councils.
Officials who are meant to assist citizens are often not capable of addressing people's concerns or at times work against the people. Sometimes even elected representatives get involved in criminal activities.
To this now, Tshwane Mayor Nasipi Moya has called on global leaders to pay closer attention to local governments. Moya made the comments on the final day of the U20 Mayors Summit in Sandton yesterday. Tshwane and Johannesburg co-hosted mayors from the G20 bloc to bring to the fore priorities they believe need to be addressed by cities across the globe. This is the first time the U20 Summit is convening on African soil, positioning South African cities at the forefront of global urban dialogue. Moya says there needs to be better collaboration between all spheres of government for socio-economic challenges to be fully addressed.
We have a cry that we've never received feedback from G20 leaders about our U20 communique. We are asking for feedback, but also we are asking for a relationship. That we are not sub-governments, we are colleagues. We are colleagues that are in the coal face of service delivery. So we are saying in South Africa, in Africa, with all the mayors globally, we are available to work with our national governments.
And Justice and Constitutional Development Minister Mamoloko Kubai is set to launch National Wills Week at the Johannesburg Master's Office today. The initiative, which runs from 15 to 19 September, aims to highlight the importance of drafting a will to secure the future of loved ones. During this week, members of the public can have their wills drafted free of charge by participating legal practitioners across the country. Spokesperson Terence Manasseh says the launch underscores government's commitment to helping citizens protect their assets.
National Wills Week is about ensuring that every South African, regardless of their background, has the opportunity to secure their legacy and protect their loved ones. By drafting a will, families are spared unnecessary hardship and disputes. The minister is calling on all citizens to take advantage of this free service and make their wishes known for the future.
Gold is trading at $3,644.93 an ounce. The rand is at 17.37 to the dollar, 23.56 to the pound, 20.38 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $66.98 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got an accident in Sandton along Grayston Drive right as you turn off from the M1. It's causing delays. There's also an accident scene within the Sandton CBD. This one happened along Rivonia Road after South Road, also causing major traffic volumes. Please be on the lookout.
A fine Monday in store for Gauteng today. Temperatures peaking at highs of between 25 and 28 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Johannesburg Mayor Dada Morero says the focus is on issues like illegal connections and infrastructure challenges as work continues to stabilize the water situation.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with Clement Manyathela
On 702.
Let's Walk the Talk, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856.
92.7 and 106 FM.
Minutes after 9 o'clock. Dumelang. Happy Monday. Welcome to the Clement Manyathela Show. How was your weekend? What did you get up to? I hope it was great as mine was. I rested a lot. I watched a theater show as well, which I recommend you go check out. It's called Dancing the Death Drill. It's an adaptation of an award-winning novel by Fred Khumalo, and it's about World War I and that tragic sinking of the SS Mendi troopship. It's directed by James Ngobe, and you know, James, he never disappoints, right? So if you've already watched the play, let me know how you found it. The dancers, my goodness. Big ups to Luyanda Sidi for the powerful choreography. I am impressed with how dance and movement in this play was used to tell a story of war, a story of loss, a story of love. It's really an incredible play. I also managed to run my first marathon since the Paris Marathon in April. So it's been a while. I ran the Rand-Waterval City Marathon. It was great. It wasn't as hot as I thought it would be, but it was part of the training, of course, for the Sanlam Cape Town Marathon next month. So we're right in the middle of training. But it was good to see some of you on the road. How did you find that marathon? Please let me know. And then, of course, how brilliant was the sporting weekend? The Springboks gave us their greatest performance ever against the All Blacks. And Pirates showed us why they are the best team. We thrashed Stellenbosch. We hammered them 3-0 to be exact. And doing that meant that we win the MTN8 title. We made history by winning our 4th MTN8 title in a row. That's a 4th consecutive title. Where have you ever seen that here? Pirates is actually the first team to successfully defend the trophy for a 3rd straight year. And for that, my friends, they deserve to be praised. So, Abel, do the right thing.
Hello. Mela Clement, Orlando Pirates, yo, what a team. You know, we don't even need Barcelona or Real Madrid. You know, we want the Springboks. Springboks is the only team which can challenge Pirates.
Goedemorgen, Clemmy. Flores here from the beautiful Winelands. Clemmy, I would like to be the first to congratulate you and the whole Pirates fraternity for winning the MTN Cup again. Yeah, the cup is yours. I'm a Kaizer Chiefs fan, but I was born and bred in the beautiful Stellenbosch. So yeah, I think your dream, you should find someone who can really interpret your dream. Kicking goals in rugby poles. Have a good job. Bye-bye.
Well, the dream was clearly for Stellenbosch. Yeah, maybe that's what I was being shown, that they're going to struggle to score. Oh, but what a game, man. Remember the hymns we played on Friday? We were already interceding on Friday when we were playing Defela. Yeah? We were playing hymns for Pirates, and our prayers reached their destination. How did you find the game? Let me know. 011-883-0702. The WhatsApp line is 072-702-1702. How happy are you as a Pirates supporter? Also, something weird. I mean, Chiefs supporters, why are you coming to our matches wearing Chiefs regalia? My brother and his friend went to the Mbombela Stadium on Saturday, and they were wearing their Chiefs t-shirts. And I didn't understand that. Why are you guys doing that? Kibulo, 011-883-0702. I'm going to take your calls and WhatsApps in a moment. The African National Congress is holding an imbizo of sorts at FNB Stadium today. President Cyril Ramaphosa will be hosting the party's municipal councillors from across the country as part of preparations for the upcoming local government elections. And this event, referred to as a roll call, will hold councillors accountable for their performances since the 2021 municipal elections. One wonders how they're going to do that. But this is a gathering that forms part of efforts to ensure that councillors remain aligned with the ANC's mandate. The Secretary General, Fikile Mbalula, says the over 6,000 of the party's councillors will be in attendance today. In fact, here's what he said when he was trying to say nobody will be excused from not attending this meeting.
We have written to them, we have sent them messages, we remind them. Only death can stop you from attending. If there is bereavement or anything of that sort. But everyone is expected to report next week on the 15th in Johannesburg. So we expect, we have received overwhelming response from our councillors that we are coming to the roll call. But the roll call is going to tell them what's going to happen in their councils, municipality by municipality, what's going to happen. This is not a talk shop, it's marching orders. The NEC will have deliberated and they will have taken decisions. Headquarters, working with the provinces, will oversee the implementation of what needs to be done. Talk is over now. What is important is for us to do what it needs to be done to serve our people. So that is what the roll call is all about.
Interesting. Talk is over. Do you know your councillor? And I wonder if your councillor is also accessible. How much of an influence does your councillor's behavior have on whether you vote for the party or not? Because I know of people who vote for other parties at national level, but when it comes to local government elections, they will even vote for parties they fundamentally disagree with in as far as certain policies are concerned. But they can see that councillors from those organizations actually work, and they decide that's how I'm going to vote. Are you that kind of a person? Do you even know your councillor? How accessible is he? Does he interact with you guys often? Let me know. At 10 o'clock, we're going to speak to businessman Serge Kabong. He is a friend of Ket Matlala, who is in jail and charged with the attempted murder of his ex-girlfriend, actress Tebogo Tobejane. Tobejane has now provided a statement to the police, and in it she accuses Serge Kabong of having helped Ket Matlala orchestrate the attempted murder. So he's going to talk to us about what did he know, and is what, of course, he's denying the allegations, and what Tebogo Tobejane is claiming. So he'll speak to us more about that at 10 o'clock. At 10:30, we start a new series today, one that's been suggested we're going to call it Things That Science Can't Explain. And today we're going to be looking at witchcraft, right? It's a subject that continues to fascinate, also terrify, but also shape everyday life for many South Africans, because for centuries, it has been part of the fabric of communities, carrying both cultural and spiritual significance. I mean, some people see it as a powerful force with real consequences. Others dismiss it as a myth or superstition. And yet, despite decades of research, witchcraft often remains beyond the reach of science and explanation. So that becomes our conversation as we start this new series around things that science can explain. And I want you to send us an email if you've got some topics around this theme that you want us to look at. cm@702.co.za is the email address. We're going to wrap up the show at 11:30 on our Family Matters feature, discussing how to cope with suicidal thoughts. That's the show coming up over the next 3 hours.
702.
WhatsApp Clement
On 072
702
1702.
Tembile, you're calling us from Centurion. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement. How are you?
I'm all right, man. Go ahead.
Hey, congratulations, Clement, and the entire Buccaneer fraternity. Congratulations on winning this cup. It's a good one. I mean, now you've won about 14 MTNA titles, right?
Yo, bro.
Yeah. And Chiefs has got 15.
Tembile, who sent you? Who sent you?
Yeah, you know, I'm liking you guys playing the catch-up.
Have you ever won 4 in a row?
No, we've not, but we've got
Exactly.
15 titles.
Yeah, so
We've got
that's
15
history
titles,
we've
eh?
just made. Next year,
But congratulations,
we'll
buddy,
beat
man.
them.
Enjoy this moment.
Thank you very much, Tembile. Thank you. We appreciate that. Hooverson, you are in Pretoria. Hi. Hello, Hooverson.
Good morning, Mr. Clement.
Sure. It is a good morning indeed.
Bathi sekusele kancane sizophumelela yo sekusele kancane iyo Mr. Clement. I'm very happy for Orlando Pirates. We were there at Mbombela. The stadium was fully packed. The boys have delivered. As we know them that they can deliver. Understand? Yeah. So now there's a new thing going on. There's rumors now. They are saying that it's no longer going to be called MTN 8. It's going to be called Orlando Pirates Top 8. That is from now.
Hooverson in Pretoria, thanks for the call. Lundi, you're in the Johannesburg CBD. Hi.
Mulale Buccaneer, mulale.
Mulale.
Mulale. Esigaba ngempuleza ngempulu umhlaba ngamasipala ngenkani. Labo qala kubindi zathi kwalaqala iOrlando Pirates. Mulala Buccaneer. Good morning.
Good morning, brother.
Man, you took everything from me. Your introduction and the song that you played. Man, we have shown the world why we are the super team.
Yeah.
We did it.
Yeah, we have.
We are the best. We are the best. I am happy for Buccaneers. Let's continue doing that. And you've taken everything. I do not have anything else to add. I'm just happy as that intro and those songs. Bulala Buccaneer, bulala.
Bulala, Lundi, bulala. Max, Sidney hi.
Hi, Clement. How are you?
Hey, Tara.
This good morning goes to only Buccaneer fans. If you're not a Pirates fan, I'm saving my good morning. Clement, I know it's a very serious note. I was at the stadium, man, after 3 hours of driving. We got there, we were told to go to park and ride and all of that, fancy fare, which was nice. But when we got to the stadium itself, our tickets were not scanned. There was nobody scanning tickets. There was a massive bottleneck at the gate. I found it very, very dangerous because people, even the guys that were sitting with me from the same taxi I came with, they came there and they said my ticket was not scanned. It's very scary.
So where did you sit then? Where people just sit at anywhere? They could...
Normally at the stadium you'll find security at the entry level of the seats. There was no security at the stadium. They were all scattered around, but there was no order. People were going out with the beer cans, which we know as football-loving fans, it's not allowed. You get plastic cups. There was no security paying attention to any of that. Park and ride in the evening was an absolute mess. I took a free tour of Mbombela, 1 hour drive throughout the town, only to go and reach my car. I think we were only 4 cars left. I got back to Johannesburg at 4 a.m.
Oh my God.
That's how crazy it was.
Yeah, look, we've been trying to have a conversation with stadium management, and I think that's part of the conversation I want to have with them, because whenever they've got these sold out stadiums, there are a lot of lapses in security, and we cannot afford that because there are risks that are associated with there being lackluster management and oversight at these stadiums. People can die if you don't have people that are going to make sure that tickets are scanned so the numbers are actually managed. There are risks that are associated with that, and we don't want to get to a point where now it's condolences and we are shouting for accountability on the part of these stadium managers. So, Max, thank you for raising that. It's going to be one of the issues I raise when we speak to stadium management. I think there's a lot they're not getting right, especially when it comes to these big games. It's 23 minutes now after 9 o'clock. More of your calls and WhatsApps after this.
From the sands of our land, it all begins. A journey that turns raw potential into something extraordinary. Our strength isn't just in what we create, it's in the lives we transform along the way. Our craft, our heritage, in our hands. Asante Class. Excellence in class.
Corporates That Care promotes and encourages corporate leaders and all citizens to walk the talk for a better South Africa. Catch Corporates That Care this Wednesday at 10 to 9 featuring Trekker. Their CEO, Dylan Fernando, will be in conversation with Bongani Mbingwa. Join us every Wednesday as we highlight the efforts of companies and brands dedicated to building our country. Corporates That Care is a Prime Media Cares initiative at 702 and Prime Media Outdoor. 702, let's walk the talk and make a difference.
Pneumococcal disease can strike at any time, especially if you live with a chronic condition or have weakened immunity. If you're 19 and older with the chronic disease, vaccination can help protect against pneumococcal pneumonia. The risk increases for people 65 and older, and vaccination is advised to help prevent serious illness. Ask your healthcare professional about pneumococcal vaccination. Don't wait. Vaccinate. Brought to you by Pfizer.
The Johannesburg Philharmonic Orchestra presents its Symphonic Jazz Festival. Enjoy iconic South African jazz with full orchestra, big band, and rhythm section led by Marcus Wyatt. Featuring a stellar lineup of artists. Linda Auditorium on 24 September, 7:30 p.m. Tickets at Quicket.
Looking for real ways to live greener? Then don't miss Green Tip of the Week, your weekly dose of sustainable inspiration. From eco-entrepreneurs to climate champions, we sit down with the people making real change. Catch Green Tip of the Week every Tuesday on Afternoon Drive with John Pellman, 3 to 6 p.m. only on 702. Proudly brought to you by Volvo. It's safe to be brave with Volvo.
Your voice,
your station,
your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
26 after 9 o'clock. Let's go back to your calls on 011-883-0702. We're taking your WhatsApps as well on 072-702-1702.
Hi, good morning, Clement. Yeah, I'm one of the people who said your dream is a sign you won't make it. Now, listen. Let me eat my humble pie. Congratulations, you guys. You did very, very well. I'm a Kaizer Chiefs fan. Thank you.
Morning, Clement and the team. Yeah, I mean, I was at Mbombela Saturday, sitting next to Chiefs guys. They wanted to cry, man. I think I'll post the video on X and tag you. These guys. Hola, Mapaga Chocho.
Hi, Clement. Clement, in regards to voting for a councillor who belongs to a different party or political party than yours, I think I am one of those people. The funny thing is that in my ward, I was actually campaigning with my own party, but when it came for time for voting, then I voted with the DA, mainly because the councillor, I've seen his work before, And, he's one of the good councillors, he's hands-on, he responds to our queries on time. So I was happy with him as an individual and his work ethic. Hence the decision to say, yes, I love my party very much so. But if it was not in my ward, if I had to choose between our nominated councillor and the DA councillor, I opted for the DA councillor. And yeah, I think it was the best decision ever. Okay, my councillor didn't know it, and I hope it remains a secret. So I'll stay anonymous. Thank you.
I think you better stay anonymous, because if your party finds out that you were busy campaigning for your party in your municipality or your ward, only for on voting day to go vote for a different party, yeah, it could be wild. But hey, you've got every right? Nobody should be forcing you how and who to vote for. So good on you. And that's why I'm asking you this morning, because the ANC is going to be hosting all their 16,000 or so councillors at FNB Stadium today. They're going to be giving them marching orders. And I've been asking, if you have a relationship with your councillor, do you know who your councillor is? Some of you don't even know. But some of you have their contact details, and they are quite responsive sometimes. How's your relationship with the councillor? Are they working? And are you a type of person who votes for a different party at national level and another party at local level? Xolani, you're in Davidton. Good morning.
Manyathela, good morning. And yeah, we must call you prophet. Eh?
I am, my brother. I've always been.
On that Orlando Pirates, you've been very spot on. But I see collapse, man. Look, Clement, President said last week, he's amazed that there's money that comes back that is not used. He's amazed that there are municipal that cannot conclude or do the monthly management account. Clement, he can't be amazed, because this roll call is rather too late. I love the ANC, Clement. But the caliber of councillors the system that is used to nominate our leaders is not right. We do have capable people in this country, but they don't attend these meetings, the MAP branch meetings, so that councillors could be attended. You know why? Because when you try and raise a voice there, they say, no, but Ubani Siamaz, he was there, Mzabalazwe.
Exactly.
Whether you've got the point, the right point, but Clement Buyale, Bronco Sprite, I don't know, you can't, as Maz Mzabalazwe. So the Dotati out to be Mzabalazwe, make it Dimanoban, whether une skill, whether unan actually which is my time to eat.
And sometimes they bring someone to the ward and say, this is the person we are going to vote for, we're going to push for. So as Xolani, if you've got different thoughts, then you become ostracized, because then you
are saying this, Xolani, because we are span.
Yeah.
That's why you are taking this route. Now, we don't have 100 days of our councillors. We do have 100 days for our leader, for our mayors, but our councillors we don't have. And it's rather too late now, with only 18 months or so left towards for them to be either voted in or out. I think it's rather too late, but they should learn that let us abantu right, Clement, in this country, back on. I'm telling you, back on.
Yeah, but whenever they try to participate and be involved, it doesn't really work out well. Yeah, Xolani in Davidton, thanks for your call. I think that's a great idea Xolani has about 100 days as a councillor. What have you been able to do in 100 days, right, after you were appointed? I think that's great. I think that would help with just tracking the progress, but also with holding them accountable. Here's another question that just popped in my mind as I was talking to Xolani. How many of you are still involved at branch level in your political parties, whether it's the ANC, Action SA, EFF, IFP, RISE, whatever? How involved are you? I remember days when I used to, have a cousin who is a professional who used to tell me, I go to these meetings. At the time he was with the ANC, and he's like, we go to ANC. At some point he joined the EFF, and he used to go to EFF meetings. I used to think, that's interesting that there are actually people like that, because I used to think that thing doesn't exist anymore. But branch meetings happen. And there are people who are professionals who think they've got a way they can contribute. And I think that's fascinating. And I wonder if that still happens today, or are there hindrances there? Because he once told me part of the reason he stops going is exactly what Xolani was talking about. Let me know your thoughts. Let's get the latest in Eyewitness News headlines. Good morning.
Thanks, Clement. Good morning. The Gauteng government will be roped in to assist Johannesburg Water in its fight against water leaks. The leaks are said to be contributing to the city's water woes, which have left many communities with dry taps in the recent months. Joburg Mayor Dada Morero has been briefing the media from the Alexander Park Reservoir in Kensington this morning on the water crisis. Patriotic Alliance leader Gayton McKenzie says he will not be taken for a ride by the ANC in Joburg as the coalition in the city stalls on a decision to appoint a new transport MMC. The position became vacant in July when Kenny Kunene resigned as a councillor and was recalled as transport MMC. It came after Kunene was found at the home of murder-accused businessman Katiso KT Molefe. And Justice Minister Mamoloko Kubai is set to launch National Wills Week at the Johannesburg Master's Office today. The initiative, which runs from the 15th to the 19th of September, aims to highlight the importance of drafting a will to secure the future of loved ones. Those are the headlines, this EWN and more at 10 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Traveling on the N12 east, there's some delays coming out of the Reading interchange. This is in Meyersdal area. Please be on the lookout there. While on the N12 as well as the R24 west, delays between Edenville Road and the Kululis interchange. If you're traveling on the Mike 1 south, there's some delays between Grayston Drive and Coilet Drive. This is just as you head towards Melrose. Please be on the lookout there. And then on the N1 south, some delays approaching Olifantsfontein Road. In the city of Tshwane, we've got a slight backup reported on the N4 west coming out of Sefakomaghato exit. This is due to roadworks taking place along this route. Please be on the lookout there. More updates coming up at the top of the hour. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
One festival, endless flavor, and 2 unforgettable days of timeless music. The DSTV Delicious International Food and Music Festival, powered by Lotto Star, returns on 20 and 21 September at Kyalami Grand Prix Circuit. On Saturday, the stage erupts with Don Toliver, Questa, and Nkabi Zezwe. Then on Sunday, experience the legendary Lauryn Hill, Wyclef Jean, Lyra, and more. The DSTV Delicious Festival, powered by Lotto Star. Tickets at Ticketmaster.
The Coliseum of Big Wins is yours to dominate in the electrifying Hollywood Bets exclusive Spinner Zonke Tournament of Champions. Go for glory. Make legendary spins for a shot at striking wins. Conquer the reels and you could claim your share of a massive 500,000 Rand in cash. Power your play. Bet 2 Rand or more on selected slots to start your leaderboard rise. Bet now.
T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
Did you know that every time you swipe your benefit card, you're contributing towards the Dis-Chem Foundation? Each time you swipe, not only are you rewarded, but a percentage of your purchase is donated to the Dis-Chem Foundation to support communities in need. All the more reason to sign up for your Dis-Chem or Dis-Chem Baby City benefit card today. Support with every swipe. The Dis-Chem Foundation, caring for the community.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
24 minutes before 10 o'clock. Do you know your councillor? Do you interact with them? Are they responsive or are they lazy? They don't respond to your concerns, your questions. Or maybe you're a councillor yourself. What relationship do you have with the people that you serve in your ward? Someone on the WhatsApp line says, "Hi Clement, I know my councillor. He's lazy. I have his number and I help people more than him. Note that I am not affiliated with any party. Hence, when I vote, my vote goes to different parties, especially the EFF and the MK party. But I'll see what happens in the next elections. Another person reflecting on this imbizo that the ANC is holding today, Tibza says, Clement, the ANC is not taking the electorate serious. I stay in Ekurhuleni, Ward 112. Since the last local elections, we have never had a single public meeting organized by the council. Our section, which is a bond, has been fighting for tar roads since democracy to date. Not all streets have tar roads in extension aid. We have done everything possible, wrote memorandum, petitions and meetings, but no action at all. How are we supposed to take them seriously? And that's why you've got an opportunity to hold them accountable at the next local government elections. If you elected people in and they failed to deliver on their promises, why would you bring them back and vote for them again? Now, you would be the reckless one.
Hi, Clement. I also personally would not vote for DA nationally, but local guys, you must see the roads. If our ANC government doesn't do anything, they are able to gather everyone. They're able to fix potholes themselves, and yeah, like I would vote for DA just for the local government because you can see what they're doing. Unlike our ANC guys that enrich themselves and they don't even stay in the areas. Check Soweto, guys. Check Soweto. Compare Soweto and Roodepoort. Yeah. Thank you.
Hello, Clement. For security reasons, I'll remain anonymous. I just want to say shout out to my councillor, Ward 54, Councillor Stuart Murray, who has even created a channel WhatsApp group updating us on small issues from water to pothole to a lost cat or a lost dog. And for that, I salute him.
Hi, Clement. Masala from Bloemfontein. I can tell you, most of the councillors, if you can ask them, what did they do in 100 days? The only thing that they've done in that 100 days is just to issue out proof of residence, nothing else. No meetings, no nothing. People or the community, they don't even know who their councillors are. There's no meeting. It's such a disastrous situation.
Hi, Clement. I know my councillor, Selina Maumwak, here in Rand West. She's very responsive. She always attend to issues, and update us on issues and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm happy for her. She belongs to the ANC. Very good councillor, that one.
That's great. I love hearing the stories of how incredible some of the councillors are, and there are some great councillors from the DA, ANC, other parties. There are some terrible councillors from the same parties as well and other parties. And I actually think that if you know of a councillor that's doing well, give them a shout out, because we need to encourage them, because that's very rare to have councillors who are passionate about serving and they're not doing this for their political expediency. So please, if you have a councillor that you know that is great, responsive, communicates with you guys constantly, please give them a shout out. Let's encourage them to do better. And I am also asking you if you are participating at branch level. I saw a tweet which actually is so sad because, wow, Tula on Twitter says, Clement, I would rather participate in holy water cult than go to a branch meeting, especially for a party that can't even have a government that can deliver better. You think you are smart, quote unquote, was the last time I even attempted to be a branch member. That's a message there from Tula on Twitter. Are you still going to participate at branch level? Like, do you attend meetings or conferences organized by your party or the party you support, the party you vote for? And how do those go? Because if Tula says sometimes they tell you you think you're smart, then that's quite sad. And then there are complaints that there are many people that don't want to participate in politics. Because some of the people who are even professionals who really have no interest in being in politics, they attend these meetings because they want to contribute. It's almost like I've got skills, I've got some knowledge that I can share, I care about this organization, so I will go and be part of the meetings. But when you are there, they're just political things that are done, and there are less conversations about how we build this country and getting meaningful contributions from whoever is part of that meeting. Are you still a branch member? Or maybe you're not a member, but you do attend some meetings organized by your party you vote for or support, or conferences. What's been your experience? Because from the messages I'm getting, some people feel like they get easily dismissed. Even when voting happens for who should perhaps, like who are we going to support to be the next councillor, it's more about people's allegiances to the powerful guys in the party as opposed to, is this the person, the best person to be skilled to do this job? Share your experiences with us, please.
Good morning, Clement. You're talking to somebody in Pretoria. Tshwane. I can tell you, my councillor, Ward 60 in Tshwane. Very good, very proactive. You call him anytime about your problem. He's going to run out for you. He's a hands-on. He's a hands-on guy. He interacts with the community. He doesn't choose colors, whether you're black, white, or pink, or blue, or whatever. He's going to come out for you. He's a very good councillor. I wish if you could come back for the second term. Thank you. Bye.
Hi, Clement. I know my councillor. He's a DA councillor locally, Ashem. He works. He communicates. He responds. Last week, refugee people didn't come on the day they were supposed to come on a Tuesday. They did not come. We complained. She responded. On Saturday, they came and collected. Shem Councillor Lana, big up to you.
Hi, Clement. I just want to give a thumbs up to our councillor in our township, Sidiso Mokonoto. This councillor is doing a great work. He has done, since he actually took up the office, he's very responsive. He communicates with the communities. He runs the meetings of the community of Muthutlung. And he also has done a lot of work. He has facilitated the roads infrastructure. So we have a good road infrastructure here in Muthutlung. That is letter from Muthutlung.
Yeah, hey, I love hearing these stories. Daniel, you calling from the Vaal. Good morning.
When it comes to the councillor, to be honest with you, there are councillors that are just there for them to, I don't know what they are, maybe they've even called. But if you can come to the Val side, Val is no longer, it's like now where there was tar roads, it's gravel now. And you find some areas with running water, sewages and all those sort of things. And you will never hear anything from the councillor. Instead, they actually are working with these guys, the Zamazamas that are coming from Lesotho. They are recruiting people to come and work in the mines. And you will never hear anyone complaining about that because they are scared for their lives. And secondly, when it comes to actually joining the branch levels, it's not easy because as a youth member, you are thinking for those of your peers that maybe are the same age as you, you want to grow with them and want to make changes. I'll just make an example with what we once tried to do. We call it YSD, which is Youth Development Center, where we would go around and clean the area around Johannesburg and the Vereeniging. And that thing was shut down. They told us, no, we are not allowed to do that because the city days picked up people who are hired to do that. And if we are doing that voluntarily, we shouldn't be asking for donations and anything like that. So, to be honest with you, when you try to start something that will grow youth or that will change lives of other people in terms of politically and also trying to build life of people in terms of doing something for youth, they will always run fast to stop you because they have their people that are doing that. And in no time, they will even make sure that those who had the idea with you, they bring them in to hire them and give them amount 4,000 just to make sure that they keep quiet. And you'll never win that case.
Yeah, that's not cool. That's not encouraging. Yeah, Daniel, thank you for sharing that experience with us all the way from the Vaal. It's 13 minutes before 10 o'clock. More of your calls and WhatsApps after this.
702 delivers
on the matters that matter to you.
Hi, this is Julia de Bruin from Sandton. I like 702 because it's even-handed. Everybody and anybody can phone in, express their opinion, and everybody is treated with respect. So you get a good balanced view of everything, lots of information, lots of interesting things that you would never have otherwise known about. You can find out via 702. Whether you start listening at 5 a.m. if you can't sleep, or whether you're still awake at night at 10 to 12 with all.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
So we can deliver more on what matters to you.
702 listens.
Let's walk the talk.
This is Jade. She'll spend hours comparing almond milk and once made a spreadsheet just for sneakers. But when she found Santam, SA's leading short-term insurer that offers a range of cover options from vehicle to building and home contents, even she didn't overthink it. The kind of freedom Santam gives you takes some getting used to. Speak to your broker. Santam, this is freedom. Santam is an authorized FSP, a licensed non-life insurer and controlling company for its group companies.
Life is full of moments. Some are small.
Surprise, I got you a matcha latte.
Some are big.
Surprise, we're having twins.
For all those moments, there's the new Haval H6 SUV with a spacious interior and voice command. It's built for big moments. Get it from only 6,699 per month. Visit gwm.co.za for T's and C's and to book a test drive. GWM. Go with more. Brought to you by GWM Finance, a division of Westbank and authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
Spar brings you super savings. Get 1 kg D-Light 37% fat spread tub, $34.99. Save R8 with Spar Rewards. Or 1 kg Spar French, chili, garlic or chicken polony for $34.99 with Spar Rewards. Plus, you could win your share of 6 million rand in instant cash. Price is valid until 22 September 2025. While stocks last. T's and C's apply.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
10 minutes before 10 o'clock. So many people are giving thumbs up and a shout out to the councillors who are doing well in their wards. On the WhatsApp line, Anonymous says, Clement, my councillor works. Quinton Mayer, Ward 2 in Pretoria North. When there is a power failure, I don't even check the City of Tshwane Twitter page. I just go to the WhatsApp group. Within 5 minutes, there will be an update. And the other one says, Clement, our councillor Padi in Ward 8, Madibeng, is petty, puts his party above everything, doesn't call community meetings, politicizes everything, including services. That's a message there from George. And then another one says, Clement, I think people experience councillors differently depending on the type of area they reside. In our councillor at the village is an ANC councillor, and he is useless. They parachuted him, even though he doesn't stay in Ward 34 of the Rustenburg local municipality. Our councillor in the urban area is a DA councillor, Jill Humphreys, and he's brilliant. She's brilliant. She's hands-on and very passionate as well. Another one says, I read this one area on about the ANC and this imbizo that they are holding. Let's go to some WhatsApp voice notes now on 072 702 and 702.
Morning, Clem. I hope you're good. Congratulations to Orlando Pirates. Clem, our councillor is not even from our ward. That's the sad case. It's not even from our ward. He doesn't attend to the community problems. Every single time we want him, he's not available. You know, it's such a sad thing. And he's an ANC councillor. That's the crazy thing. And it's so disappointing. You know, he's one of the councillors. If Ramaphosa can just boot him out, that will actually help us a lot, because now, really, and I stay in Venterspoort. Majority of the people that reside are white. and it's a disaster. Like he instead of coming to the community and discussing with the community, he dictates to us as if he owns us. It's so frustrating, like, honestly.
Hi, Clement. I stay in Ward 74. Councillor Belinda, big ups to her. Umugel uyasebenza. She is on the ground. We know exactly what is going on.
Morning, Clement. I hope you're well, sir, as you had that dream on Friday of Orlando Pirates winning. Okay. Sir, I've been staying in Ward 112 in Tsakane, Extension 8. It's over 20 years now. I never met the councillor. He doesn't hold meetings. He doesn't do anything at all for the community. So, yeah, I just wish the ANC can do better. I just wish the ANC can change their ways of doing things. Even the people who are working on that program, utopa topa, yokubutha amaphepha, you only get that job when you are an ANC member. So, yeah, that's my thing. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, Clement. My councillor, Foley, in council number 94 in 4 ways, very, very active. I sometimes wish he was the president. He's dealing with things that maybe don't concern him. The robots there by Leslie and Winnie Mandela. He's there. The robots there by Kingfisher, and he's there. He's now involved with the removing of the shacks there by Vetkopen and Main Street. He's there. He's very, very active. I love him so much. I just wish him very well. He's very, very active. Thank you, Penny from Four Ways.
Yeah, thank you, Penny. Zamu says, Clement, our councillor in Ward 39 is Lefa Modise and he's tops. Another one says, Clement, we have a useless DA councillor by the name of Ivan Naidu in Germiston Ward 37. He doesn't communicate and only just forwards messages. Yeah, there's a lot that's required of you as a councillor. And I think we must normalize, yes, giving praise for councillors that are actually doing their job. But let's also call out the councillors that are failing to do their work. I mean, you must be allowed to express unhappiness and frustration when councillors have not been responsive, when councillors have not been doing their job. And I think we must normalize that so that, because I can see even on the WhatsApp, there are other people that agree around some councillors that are being mentioned. There are other people who agree that they do well. There are other people who agree that those councillors have been useless. And I think the more we name and shame, but also the more we praise those that are doing well, the better the chances of us as we get to the next local government elections. I think people in your community then sort of have an idea of who to vote for, and they can use some of your experiences that you share, right, around the experiences with the councillors that are in your areas to decide whether or not those are the people to vote for again. It's 4 minutes now before 10.
Spar brings you super savings. Get 750 gram, 780 gram, 850 gram Nola mayonnaise, excluding squeeze bottle, for $38.99. Save R6 with Spar rewards, or 2-liter Spar full cream or low-fat ultra-pasteurized milk for $32.99 with Spar rewards. Plus, you could win your share of R6 million in instant cash. Price is valid until 22 September 2025. While stocks last. T's and C's apply.
Business is unpredictable. Your insurance costs shouldn't be. Without insurance business, when you claim, your excess is fixed amount, not a percentage of the claim. So no surprises. For pharmacies, restaurants, beauty salons, convenience stores, and other industries, Outrance Business are trusted experts in business insurance, and it's so easy to switch. Get a quote today on 08 600 60,000 or visit outsurance.co.za. Licensed, insured, and FSP. T's and C's and information online.
Backed by popular demand, legendary jazz icon Kenny G will be performing at the Super Bowl at Sun City on Friday, the 3rd of October. Get ready for an unforgettable night of timeless hits and pure musical magic. Get your tickets from webtickets.co.za. Brought to you by Breakout Events and 702.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
2 minutes before 10.
Clement, our councillor here in Benoni, Ward 27 in Northmead, Lonette Joseph is a DA councillor. She's one of the best. She's one of the best. She created a WhatsApp group. She's accessible, and she gets back to you whenever there's a query. And she just doesn't shy away from doing her work and reporting to the public. Big up, Lonette. Love you, Maurice in Benoni.
All right, Maurice, thank you for that. And then another anonymous says, Clement, Ward 47 in Dobsonville, our ANC councillor doesn't want to account. She'll tell you she doesn't work for Eskom, Joburg Water, and so on. She doesn't want to even hold meetings and will swear at us through her WhatsApp statuses. No ways. Wait, what do you mean? So the councillor often tells them, according to this message, this Ward 47 councillor in Dobsonville often tells them that when they complain about power cuts, and the councillor says she doesn't work for Eskom. When they complain about water issues, the councillor says, I don't work for Joburg Water. And then apparently the councillor goes and updates like WhatsApp statuses, and in those statuses she's busy swearing at the residents through her WhatsApp, and they can see that. That is so wild, man. That is so wild. Look, let's normalize this, eh? Let's normalize just giving thumbs up to councillors that are doing good, but also let's name and shame councillors that are simply failing to do the most basic of their responsibilities. It's 10 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Bali Dlamini. The Gauteng government will be roped in to assist Johannesburg Water in its fight against water leaks. The leaks are said to be contributing to the city's water woes, which have left many communities with dry taps in the recent months. Joburg Mayor Dada Morero has been briefing the media from the Alexander Park Reservoir in Kensington on the water crisis this morning. Jabuli Lembata has more.
Joburg Mayor Dada Morero says the Minister of Water has been in communication with the Gauteng government to assist with closing off water leaks. This will happen parallel to the work that has already begun by Joburg Water to upgrade the infrastructure of reservoirs. Morero says they are on top of the situation of tackling the city's water crisis.
We are also going to be unveiling our master plan in terms of infrastructure refurbishment, which also includes pipe replacements, so that we can deal with the leaks. We have agreed last night also with the Minister of Water that Johannesburg will have a program on dealing with leaks.
He says another focus is to get water levels in the reservoirs to 50% to ensure consistent supply. Jabuli Lembata, Eyewitness News, Kensington.
At the same time, Johannesburg Water says its annual water restrictions are a crucial part of a larger strategy to manage the city's ongoing crisis. The restrictions, which started on the 1st of September and will end on March the 31st, are a direct response to challenges exacerbated during the warmer months. Joburg Water's Managing Director Nchabedi Mukwebo says by tying the annual restrictions to a larger plan of infrastructure repair as well as improved management, the utility hopes to address both the short-term and the long-term issues.
All the systems across the whole city are interconnected. So we are going to be intensifying the issue of throttling other systems so that we can be able to improve the levels upstream. We need to get the level upstream improved. When I say upstream, is level for reservoirs upstream going back to our bulk supply.
Patriotic Alliance leader Gayton McKenzie says he will not be taken for a ride by the ANC in Johannesburg as the coalition in the city stalls on a decision to appoint a new transport MMC. The position became vacant in July when Kenny Kunene resigned as a councillor and was recalled as transport MMC. It came after he was found at the home of murder-accused businessman Katiso KT Molefe. Molefe is currently behind bars for allegedly orchestrating the murder of artist Opasifuka, popularly known as DJ Sambodi. The Patriotic Alliance's new recruit, 24-year-old Liam Jacobs, was the party's first preference to replace Kunene, but it's understood the ANC and other coalition partners did not agree. In a regular briefing to party supporters last night, McKenzie announced he would make a decision on this matter today.
Now, all of a sudden, this ANC is playing games with us. Now we must take something else. EFF wants our position. So tomorrow evening we'll tell you the decision that the Patriotic Alliance is going to take. But we cannot say once Baizani than Baizans. So just know that tomorrow evening you will know which decision the PA is taking.
To this now, Justice and Constitutional Development Minister Mamoloko Kubai is set to launch National Wills Week at the Johannesburg Master's Office today. The initiative, which runs from 15 to 19 September, aims to highlight the importance of drafting a will to secure the future of loved ones. During this week, members of the public can have their wills drafted free of charge by participating legal practitioners. Spokesperson Terence Manasseh says the launch underscores government's commitment to helping citizens protect their assets and ensure a smooth transfer of inheritance.
National Wills Week is about ensuring that every South African, regardless of their background, has the opportunity to secure their legacy and protect their loved ones. By drafting a will, families are spared unnecessary hardship and disputes. The minister is calling on all citizens to take advantage of this free service and make their wishes known for the future.
And in Turkey, an Ankara court is hearing a case into alleged vote buying that could tip over the leadership of the main opposition party. Critics say the case is a politically motivated attempt to undermine the country's oldest organization, which won a huge victory in last year's local elections. Yesterday, large crowds gathered at the Tanugan Square in defiance of the move. The CHP has denied the charges and has accused government of trying to stop its work as an opposition party. Gold is trading at $3,644.93 an ounce. The rand is at 17.37 to the dollar, 23.56 to the pound, 20.39 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $66.99 a barrel.
There's queuing traffic on the N12 and the R24 West between Edenville Road and the Giluli's interchange. That's due to roadworks taking place along this route. And there's more roadworks taking place along the Golden Highway just as you come out of the N1 exit, and they are causing delays. Please be on the lookout there.
It's a fine Monday in store for Gauteng today. Temperatures peaking at highs of between 25 and 28 degrees. The top story in EWN, the Gauteng government will be roped in to assist Johannesburg Water in its fight against water leaks.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7 and 106 FM.
7 minutes after 10 o'clock. Dumelang, welcome to the second hour of the Clement Manyathela Show. Thank you for staying with us here on 702. Really appreciate your contribution always on the 702 open line. Just to remind you, at 10:30 we're going to start a new series. One of our listeners has suggested that we do a series looking at the things that science can explain. And of course, there are a lot of things that science cannot explain. So this listener has asked that we start off with the concept of witchcraft. Do you even call it the concept of, or do you call it the reality of? So we're going to be talking about that because some people see it as a powerful force with real consequences. Other people dismiss it as a myth or as superstition. Yet despite decades of research, witchcraft often remains beyond the reach of science and explanation. So that's a chat at 10:30. And at 11 o'clock, we're going to do our Family Matters feature. And today we're going to be discussing how to cope with suicidal thoughts. We think thousands of thoughts throughout the day, and sometimes thoughts about death make an appearance more often than we'd expect. So many people have had suicidal thoughts at some point in their lives. Sometimes these thoughts are fleeting, but other times they can be stronger urges and fantasies that promise relief from seemingly unbearable pain. So how do you deal with thoughts like that? That's a conversation on our Family Matters feature at 11 o'clock.
You're with Clement Manyathela.
702.
But right now, we start our conversation with businessman Serge Kabong. He is a friend, you could argue maybe, of Ket Matlala. Ket Matlala, remember, is in jail, charged with the attempted murder of his ex-girlfriend, actress Tebogo Tobejane. Well, Tobejane has provided a statement to the police now, and in that statement, she accuses Serge Kabong, who is a businessman, of having helped Ket Matlala orchestrate the attempted murder. In fact, she says Kabong was one of the last people to see her before shots were fired at her as she was leaving the restaurants where they met. She also claims that she once told Kabong that she suspected that Ket Matlala was involved in the murder of Babita Deokaran. Now, Serge Kabong joins us now in studio. Serge, welcome to the show. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for coming through. So, your name has been mentioned by Tebogo Tobejane. She accuses you of sharing her location with Ket Matlala, who then sent people to kill her, but they failed. I think it's clear you've already denied this claim, but you were with her before the attempted murder, right? What happened on the day?
Okay, look here, I'm going to just fix something that you just said. Mm-hmm. I'm not only close friend to Kate, I'm close friend to both of them too.
Both of them, yeah.
Yeah, most person I was spending most of time was Tebogo. Actually, what happened, I was for my meetings, a friend of mine who was with Tebogo Tobejane. I'm not going to mention his name in this moment. I'm just going to keep it. Call me and then send me a message that I have a proof was on the 2023 on the 17th of October. I think it was around past 5. Who invited me to join them on the signature in Morningside Shopping Center. They were with Tebogo. Okay, I was having a little bit of delay on my way to reach where they were. And then when he called me again, and then Tebogo grabbed the phone from her, tell me, how far are you? And then I said to her that I'm not far from where you guys are. And then I arrived where they were, the signature, we sit, we all chill,
Yeah.
I think they were ordering food and the drinks. And then when we seated there, I think I spent more than 1 hour. And then I decided to leave to go to my house because I'm just 5 minutes away from there.
You left them at the restaurant.
Okay. When I was leaving, the friend who invited me say, since you are leaving, you're paying the bill, I'm going to leave with you, you drop me at the hotel.
Okay.
I said, no problem. And then I dropped at the hotel, I went to my house.
So you left Tebogo with?
I left Tebogo
with another friend?
With a couple of a friend of her.
Okay.
And then I went to my house. When I was seated, about 1 hour, I received a call from one of Tebogo's friends. Said to me, no, please, you need to come because they shoot Tebogo. And then I told them maybe I was dreaming when I heard the news because I was just with about an hour ago. And then how come she was being shot because I left her inside signature.
Yeah.
And then when I was asking for direction, when she was explaining to me, she said, when you come out to shopping center, you turn left, you pass the police station, you go down. There's a circle down. When you pass the circle, there's a garage. They see a car just take over them, start shooting from the back. And then I was very shocked.
Okay.
And then I called a friend who invited me to signature. I said, look, they shot the Teboro. Can I pick you up when there?
Yeah.
I think it was delay. And then I rushed to the scene of crime.
And we'll get to what happened when they also eventually got to the hospital. But did you share any information about where Tebogo Tobejane was to either Ket Matlala, who's your close friend, or anybody for that matter?
Yeah, look, I don't see a reason of me sharing a location or communicate with anyone who was against Tebogo at that moment, according to her.
Mm-hmm.
I never share any location with anybody, because if I did share location, the police have a power, especially the team who are investigating the matter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they have a power to find out. Even if I lie, I don't tell the truth, they have a power to find out. You understand? I never share any location. Teboro, she's just lying to everybody. He need attention to people. He's trying to involve them, to involve me on the things that I don't know, that I was not even part of that. I was not even planning to anything just because I stopped talking to her.
Why did you stop talking to her? Why do you think she would lie and, as you say, argue that you are one of the people that helped Ket Matlala try and murder her?
I'll give you a reason why. Number one, you must understand Teboro is under drugs. I'm not only the person that Teboro is accusing. He's accusing a lot of people. I have all the evidence of everyone that she's fighting about. She's fighting high-profile people. She's been accusing on that day. Because when I arrived in the scene of crime when he was down there, she's the person who gave me a location to where to find her at the hospital. And then I arrived there at the hospital. There was no police. I'm the person who called the police to arrive in the scene of crime. I took my phone, I called General Masha because I have access on them, because I'm one of the activity on the GBV on gender-based violence. That's what I communicate with them when there's any problem. You understand? Why must I go to be part of that? And then on the later stage, I'm the person who activated for this case to go further. Because after the hospital, when the police came, and then I called Teboro on the side, I said, please, what happened to you? No one can be happy with that. And then she forced me to share a live on my Instagram about what happened to her. And then I was refusing on that. The reason why I was refusing, I said to her, look, what happened to you since the bullet did not get you? If I go live, they might see where we are. They might come here.
Yeah.
She said to me, no, you don't need to worry. Since you called the police here, you can go live. And then I didn't go for live.
So you went live.
I went live on my Instagram to
she
address
asked you to do that.
She asked me to do
to
that.
announce to the public
that what happened to her.
Yeah.
And then I went live. And then I was in the hospital with her until the police arrived. Do you understand? And then I don't see a reason of me being involved on that.
Yeah.
You understand? And then I sit a couple of hours with her at the hospital. And then I left. I go home. Before I leave, I ask her, I say, please, you need to be honest to me, because if anything happened to you, I'll be the first person to ask. Tell me what is going on in your life. That's when she start mentioning the people that she been suspecting. In this moment, I'm not going to share their name here, only if it come in the right time that I need to share, because she's not telling the police the truth. You understand? She's not telling the police the truth. Because if she was telling the police the truth, she could tell the police that it's Serge who called the police to open the case, to deal with the matter. She could tell the police, why did she tell me the people that she was suspecting?
Yeah. When you say that you helped escalate even this case, what do you mean? What were you able to do?
What I was able to do, I was able to call the relevant police to come. They failed to come to the scene of crime. They came to the hospital because I called them. I said the accident happened 5 minutes away from Santon police station. How come you guys was not in the scene of crime? They said to me they did not hear the gunshot type of things like that. That's why they were able to come to the hospital.
Okay. Did you attempt at any point to try someone in the higher top structures of the SAPS to try and get them to escalate this case?
Yes, I did. I called General Masha on the same day of the scene of crime. She sent the team. And then when the relevant people from Santon, when I called, when they come there, when they hear that I was talking to General Masha to give direction, they said to me, why are you calling them? Because we are already here. And then I needed to call him back to stop him. So the member was already there.
Okay.
And then after that, I told Teboro, please, me and you, we need to be at the Santon police station so that you must go see the commander so you can explain. They escalated this matter to the right person so that the case doesn't go away.
So did you, at that point, share information with Ket Matlala to explain that, hey, your ex-girlfriend has just survived a murder attempt?
Why must I share with him? Because I think on that moment, me and you were not having any communication. Even if you were having communication, what important of Ket or me to inform Ket?
Aren't you guys close friends?
We can't call it close friend on that direction. We are close friend on business only.
Okay.
Yeah. Not only on the time that sharing those type of information.
Okay.
Their relationship I don't involve. Even when Tebo was having tattoo for Ket on his leg, I never heard from Ket, I heard from Tebo. I'm too close so much to Tebo.
Okay, so you are friends with Tebogo, who is Ket Matlala's ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
But the relationship are separate like that.
Yes.
So even when Tebogo, who is Ket's ex-girlfriend, and Ket is in jail on charges of attempting to murder her, you never at any point spoke to Ket Matlala about this hectic incident that he's now in jail for.
I think on the later stage, after a few months, when I see social media been posting picture for Ket and Tebo, what I did, I took the one that I saw the post about Ket and Tebo, that he's the suspect on that, and then I forwarded it to him to ask him what is going on. He never responded to me, and then I left it like that. I didn't want to involve in people's business. I left it like that.
Okay.
After that, we never share anything between me and him.
Do you still speak to him, Ket Matlala?
Yes, I
from
do.
Jail?
I do. He's my friend. I'm still talking to him.
Is he a friend or is he a business partner?
Look, he's a friend, but on business basis, on the business direction.
So what are you talking about business while he's in jail?
No, we're not talking about business. I think when he was there, he called me a few times where he was asking me for the advice for the lawyer.
Okay.
You understand? It looked like he wanted to add another lawyer on his case. That's what we were discussing about.
Okay. Are you worried at all that your friend / business partner is being charged for this?
Yes, I do. I'm worrying a lot. You understand? Number one, I'm worrying about my reputation. Since he's been accused, people might look at me on the different direction. But what I can tell people, I'm not that person that they look at on that direction. I've got nothing to do with that. I've got no any benefit on that.
Yeah, and you know what people, of course, Serge, are going to say is, often people say, show me your friends and I'll tell you what kind of a person you are. I mean, if you're keeping, for instance, Ket Matlala or Edwin Sodi or anybody else, don't you worry then people go, okay, that's interesting.
But let me answer you here. Look, I know Ket on the business basis. I don't know Ket on whatever allegation they are against him. I know Ket more than 10 years. I know Ket as a businessman. I don't know Ket on the what allegation that against him. You understand?
Yeah.
Few people that you are mentioning, I know them as a business people. Whatever they do beyond that, it's got nothing to do with me. I can socialize with anybody that I feel I want to socialize, but only on the business basis, on the business direction.
Okay. And Katie Molefe, are you any close with him?
I don't even know the guy. I'm not even close to him.
Okay. There's a question, of course, that a lot of people now have around what you are going to do about what Tebogo has said, because she seems to have put this now on an affidavit to implicate you and says you helped orchestrate this attempted murder on her.
Look, I'm going to repeat it again. If she really feel I was the person, let him give the police evidence. He must tell the police when. You understand? He must give them a proper direction so that he can assist the police with the investigation. My teams are already aware of that. I already placed the teams, are already on the standby. Whatever will come, I'll face for it. That's all I can tell you.
Are you planning on suing her?
Look, I'm going to take the action. I'm giving her a last warning because she went live. I have evidence that he went live to say, I send the people to go kill her.
To help Ket Matlala?
No. To kill her. I have the evidence. I have proof. I can show you now. She went live. And then I approached my legal team. We seated on it. We are waiting for her to go again to do anything under my name. We're going to take action
Have
from
you
there.
tried to speak to her because you said you guys are close friends?
Look, I did not try to talk to her. She tried to call me on July. I didn't want to answer a call because I don't want to socialize myself around Tebogo.
But at the time, she had not made the claim that you
No,
were
we were
involved.
talking, we were okay.
So why did you avoid her calls?
No, I did not avoid her because we were talking every day. The things that make me to stop talking to her because she want to control me who I'm talking to.
What do you mean?
Yeah, she's telling me that I must not talk to Kate. I must not talk to Morgan. and then I must not talk to few people. I don't see a reason why. And then I'm talking to them on the business direction. I'm not talking to them to anything that is out of business.
What reasons did she give for telling you don't speak to Kat?
The problem with her, she's a very bitter. That's number one.
Bitter about?
A bit about trying to control me, who to talk to. That I'm not going to allow her to control me. I'm a businessman. I have a right to socialize to anybody that I feel I need to socialize on the business basis. Yeah.
What's your relationship with the Deputy National Police Commissioner, Shadrack Sibiya? Do you guys know each other?
Look, I know the general. Everybody knows the general for many years. You understand that?
You have a close relationship.
I've got a close relationship with him for many years. Not in the bad way. Like everyone who are friend to him. He's a very nice person to anyone. You understand?
Okay. But what formed the relationship?
What formed the relationship? I met the general when he used to be in the Scorpion. Yeah, that's where we met it before. We never met it in the office. We met it via a close friend.
So this is more a friendly relationship?
Friendly relationship,
Okay.
Nothing more than that.
Okay, nothing. Because I'm asking that because I interviewed, was it Malcolm X on the show? And
Yeah.
he spoke about the relationship he has with, who was it? The former Hawks head, Godfrey Lebeya, for instance. And of course, there are some people that have made claims around business people that have got these strong links to these top cops. I mean, in this case, that's why I'm asking you about Shadrack Sibiya. So you're saying your relationship was more friendship, friendly outside of work, and it's got nothing to do with what he does?
Look, he's got nothing to do what he does. Look, I'm not a policeman. I don't do any business with a policeman. You understand? I'm an entrepreneur. I run my own business. That has got nothing to do with him.
Yeah.
You understand? Like when I used to be one of the in the gender-based violence, when I have a problem that complainer come, I do refer people to him on the case basis.
But you're not a police informant of
No,
sorts.
I'm not one of them.
What
I will never be.
How did you feel about what General Mkhwanazi said in KZN? Because he seemed to say there are certain business people who are in close relations with top police cops, and he was trying to suggest that that's why there's often political interference even coming from the top cops themselves.
Look here, I think that one you can keep it for somebody else who's in the same direction with them. I'm not part of that, and then I'm not going to comment on anything that General Mkhwanazi say. I'm not commenting anything that on the side of General Sibiya. You understand? I'm here to respond on the allegation that was against me. Whatever the general put in the public, I've got nothing to do with that.
Another thing that Tebogo Tobejane put out is that she claims that she told you that Kat Matlala is responsible for the murder of Babita Deokaran.
Yeah, look.
She says that she believes you then told that information to Kat Matlala, and that's why Kat Matlala wanted to kill her.
Yeah, look here. That's what I'm saying to you guys. Tebogo is lying a lot. He's not assisting the police with their investigation. Number one, she's a liar. She never shared type of information with me. Even if she said it with me, I'm not the right person to share with it. He could report that matter to the police. Why she's lying today? Why all the time she never share it? Why only now she come now to talk about it? Because I never discussed type of conversation like this with Tebogo Tobejane.
So she's never said anything to you about Babita Deokaran?
She never said to me anything. She must give the police when was it, what date was it, what time was it. Where did he tell me? Was it over the phone or we seated me and her? You understand? I never even such a conversation like
so
this.
So she's never even told you that she once saw Kat Matlala in Tembisa meeting with people who seemed like they are in Kabi?
She never discussed with me. First of all, she gonna share those type of information with me is a what? For what reason? I'm not a police officer. You understand? She must refer those information to the police. And my question come now, since I hear my name has been mentioned, why only now she coming to share this information? Why all those years ago that he heard this information? Why he never informed any police? She can't say that does he know anybody in the police. She knows.
Yeah.
She's around all over. She know everybody. You understand? She must not come now to liar to think that he can waste the police resource with the wrong information.
Okay.
She must tell the police the truth.
I've got some messages coming from some of our listeners here, so I want to involve them in this chat on 011-883-0702. That's where you can call. WhatsApps are coming on 072-702-1702. Kanya on the WhatsApp line, Serge, says, "Hi Clement. So Serge left people dining just to go back home. Not that there is an emergency. He just left them dining. And the next thing, there's a hit on the people that left. Something is fishy here. Was there an emergency when you left the restaurant?"
Look, let me respond to Kanya's message.
Yeah.
It's not like I was in the scene of crime when people was dying. I don't know where he's referring it, if he's referring it to when I was in the hospital or what. I don't know. You understand that? Remember, if she's referring in the hospital, my time being in the hospital, I was having enough time, more than 2 hours. There was no importance of me being there again for another time again, enough time. You understand? That's why I decided to go home. Remember, the bullet did not get to my close friend Tebo Tobejan. Get to one of the friend of Tebo. Was not necessary for me to be there until all night.
But looks like the attempt was on her.
Attempt was on her.
Yeah.
You understand? Since Tebo was okay, was in the good space, and then I seated there, I give him moral support, and then I done my part, and then was my time to leave. I could go back home.
Yeah. Let me wrap up with this message from someone who says, where is that? Franz, who says, "Clement, with no relation, I have no relation to Serge, but that man is indeed a true crime fighter and a constant advocate for justice. He helped us find my dead brother's body, lost car, and tracked the criminals all within 48 hours. Serge is one of the few people who are the real ones in my view." How did you manage to do that? Find the body and track the criminals in 48 hours?
Look, sometimes when you're in the space of gender-based violence, you're sitting down with senior people in the police, you're discussing the importance against the crime. You understand? That's where you create a network. You understand? We have what we call sometimes when a close friend or anybody call you for emergency, you look at on it face, you see who to call to assist. That's when we come to assist people on time of that.
Okay, so in this case, how did you assist?
I needed to call the relevant people, yes. I needed to call relevant people.
Did you call Shadrach Sibia to assist?
He was not even part of that. I called a different unit and then I connected them with those units and then they did their part of work that they wanted to do until they assisted the family.
Okay. Serge, thank you so much for coming through to give us your side of the story. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you
and
very much.
We'll wait to see what the next action is once you and your lawyers have discussed how to take it forward. Are you prepared to also give the police a statement to respond to Tebogo's statement?
Yes, I'm prepared. When their time, they feel that is my time. When they call me anytime, I'll cooperate with them. I'll go to their office. If they feel they want to come to my house, they will come to my house.
Okay. Serge Kabong, thank you so much for making time for us.
Thank you very much, Clement.
It's 10:30. Let's get the latest in Eyewitness News headlines. Good morning.
Thanks, Clement. Good morning. ANC municipal councillors from across the country have gathered at the Nasrec Expo Centre today as part of preparations for the upcoming local government elections. The party is holding what it terms a roll call, where its councillors will account for their performance since the 2021 municipal elections. The gathering forms part of efforts to ensure its councillors remain aligned with the ANC's mandate. Johannesburg Mayor Dada Morero says interventions are being put in place to ensure everyone has access to water. Morero briefed the media this morning from the Alexander Park Reservoir in Kensington. The address comes as the city continues to deal with pressure to keep up with the growing population as well as a high water demand. And Tshwane Mayor Nasiphi Moya has called on global leaders to pay closer attention to local governments. Moya made the comments on the final day of the U20 Mayors Summit in Sandton yesterday. Tshwane and Johannesburg co-hosted mayors from the G20 bloc to bring to the fore priorities they believe need to be addressed by cities across the globe. Those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 11 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Traffic is heavily backed up on the N12 as well as the R24 West between Barber Road and the Kilulis interchange. I'm seeing roadworks taking place right as the Kilulis turn off, and I'm not sure if this is the reason for this delay. So please be on the lookout there. If you know exactly what's happening, do send us a report on X at EWN Traffic. If you're traveling on the N12 West, we've got some delays coming out of the Reading interchange. There's also queuing traffic along the Golden Highway towards Freedom Park. Delays coming out of the N1. We do know that there's a faulty traffic lights at Union Avenue, as well as the roadworks that are taking place along this route, and that's the reason for those back up. So please be on the lookout and continue driving with care. Your next traffic update at the top of the hour.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
It's time to eat, dance, and celebrate. The DSTV Delicious Festival, powered by Lotto Star, is serving up 2 days of world-class entertainment, from international acts to South Africa's finest artists, alongside culinary masterpieces from the best local chefs. Browse fashion and art, take part in live cooking demos, and soak up the festival's electric atmosphere. 20th of September on Saturday is for you and your crew, and then on Sunday, the 21st of September, is for the family picnic vibes. The DSTV is turning 30 and you're invited to the party. One ticket, endless experiences. Tickets at Ticketmaster. More on deliciousfestival.com.
My guy, tell me how date night was.
Bro, I'm telling you, my arrival was too clean. That sporty exterior, the 1.5 turbo engine, just turns heads.
But what about date night?
Yeah, it was chilled. But the Jolly on Pro, it's on another level, bro.
Sometimes the drive is the best part. The Haval Julian Pro from only $4,299 per month. Visit gwm.co.za for T's and C's. GWM. Go with more. Brought to you by GWM Finance, a division of West Bank, an authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
Let's count backward. 5. Insurance. 4. Pineapple. 3. Insurance. 2. Pineapple. 1. You're under. Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
Think radio is out of reach? Think again. With Prime Media Credit, you can get your brand on 947, 702, KFM 94.5 and Cape Talk now and pay later. Flexible finance, big impact. Email advertise@primemedia.co.za. Prime Media Credit, powered by Bridgement.
From the bottles on your table to the glass that's recycled and reborn, Isanti Glass is proving that sustainability can shine. This Saturday, 702 Drive with John Pellman will be in conversation with Isanti Glass as we unpack how they are redefining glass manufacturing and making a real impact in communities. We'll also explore how Isanti Glass champions innovation, empowers local industries, and supports a secular economy through recycling and sustainable practices. Don't miss 702 Drive with John Pellman this Thursday in conversation with Isanti Glass from 3 to 6 p.m. on 702.
702.
The Clement Manyathela Show.
Let's walk the talk.
It's 25 minutes before 11 o'clock. Can I read some of the WhatsApp messages that have come through responding to this conversation with Serge Kabong? There are a few of you that sent out some WhatsApps. There's some voice notes as well. Maybe I can play one, Abel, because we don't really have the time. But Pumlani says, Clement, interesting that Shadrach Sibia's name keeps coming up with people who have some questionable dealings. Another one says, hi Clement, people tell on themselves. I don't trust anything that comes from this person's mouth. There's a clear distinction between a friend and a business partner. Birds of the same feather flock together. Also, why are these people living their lives on social media, going live all the time? Serge keeps contradicting himself. At the late Pravin Godan would say, connect the dots. Another person says, Clement with no... Okay, that's the one I read earlier on, who was thanking Serge for having helped him find their brother's body, lost car, and track the criminals within 48 hours. As you heard, Serge says, I called a few units, and they were able to get on this case. Joe says, Clement sounds like yet another super consultant. We don't believe these guys at all. Listen, let's hope that the police, of course, will speak to whoever they think is relevant in this case. At the moment, Ket Matlala is in jail. he is being accused of attempting to, of having called a hit on his ex-girlfriend, Tebogo Tobejane. Tebogo Tobejane, this ex-girlfriend, she told the police that she believes that Ket Matlala wanted to kill her because she knows, or she suspected, that Ket Matlala is the one that called a hit on Babita Deokaran. And she even says in court papers that she told Serge Kabong about that. And Serge Kabong then told Ket Matlala, and that's why Ket Matlala wanted to murder her. But as you've heard, Serge is denying all of that and says lawyers are considering even taking action.
Hi, Clement. It's V in Bryanston. I'm finding it quite fascinating how many of the alleged criminals and kind of shady characters in South Africa's social scene seem to be friends with General Sibiya. Yeah, it's quite curious. But you can hear from this interview that there's a lot of rot in our criminal, political, and policing systems. It's worrying, but yeah, it's V in Bryanston.
Yeah, hey, this is a serious web of so many things, and I really hope that the police will be able to get to the bottom of this. I really hope so, because there's a lot at stake here. The Madlanga Commission is going to begin its work, but there's a lot here that really needs to be looked at, I think. It's now going up to 22 minutes before 11 o'clock.
You're with Clement Manyathela.
702. Let's walk the talk.
We're starting a new series today, which I'm really excited about, and it was actually suggested by one of our listeners who said, please do a series on the things that science cannot explain. And this listener suggested that we start with the subject of witchcraft. And I want to encourage you to send me an email on cm@702.co.za if you've got suggestions on what else we can look at that science cannot explain, and then we'll bring in the relevant guests who can look at that. So we call this feature Things That Science Can't Explain, and today we're looking at witchcraft. And of course, witchcraft is a subject that continues to fascinate a lot of us, maybe terrify some of you, but it really shapes everyday life for many South Africans. For centuries, it has been part of the fabric of our communities, carrying both cultural and spiritual significance. Some people see it, yes, as a powerful force with real consequences, but you've got other people who think of it as a myth, as a superstition. But despite decades of research, witchcraft often remains beyond the reach of science and explanation. I mean, how often do you even hear talk show hosts talk about it? Hey? So, do you believe in witchcraft? And if yes, how do you rationalize the existence of witchcraft versus science? I'd like to hear your experiences on 011-883-0702. WhatsApp's on 072-702-1702. Godfrey Madlalate is a qualified herbalist and also traditional healer who's going to guide us through this conversation. Godfrey, thank you so much for making time for us. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement. Good morning to your listeners as well.
Maybe let's start by explaining how witchcraft is understood within the South African context.
Okay, thank you very much. I think before I come to the South African context, I must just do qualify that witchcraft is a global concept.
Yeah.
It cuts across, it's associated as well with sorcery and other practices, as well as falls within a branch of what we call paranormal practice. How I'm going to define witchcraft, I think today, as you've mentioned, the South African context, it will most probably fit into the SADC context, so the Southern African Development Community context, because we have similar kind of circumstances in the energy space and the healing space. Witchcraft can be described as a negative force that has its roots in pre-colonial communities, in this case, pre-colonial Africa and pre-colonial Southern Africa. When our forebears were developing their indigenous knowledge systems, incidentally, there was good and bad in some of it, and witchcraft seems to have then been that part of our indigenous knowledge systems that was undesirable. Remembering that, in traditional African communities, we do have quite a close relationship and bond with nature and natural cycles and systems and ecosystems and biodiversity. It was during that process that of experimentation that certain communities did develop witchcraft to a certain great extent, and used it for several reasons. Some people have used it for defense reasons during the wars of conquest and before that. Other people have used it to suppress and to exercise command and control over others. It is actually, unfortunately, still being used today to exercise control and command over others, including in corporate South Africa.
Okay. So, what is the connection between herbalism, traditional healing, and witchcraft?
I think yes, just to come back to that question, herbalism is connected to traditional healing in the sense that we mostly use herbs to treat our patients and clients in an effort to, better their lives and to give them a very fruitful standard of living. There is no direct connection between herbalism and traditional healing on the one side, on the one end, and witchcraft on the other. What happens here is, I think before I speak further about witchcraft, I must also qualify the legislative situation in this country about witchcraft. So witchcraft has evolved in this country from being a pre-colonial practice without explorers, without missionaries, and without people from the West and other parts of the globe that came to Southern Africa. It then changed its form and evolved after the arrival of missionaries and explorers because they wanted to control our lives and almost define who we are without fully understanding in the first place what it means to be a Black African. They then set all kinds of phrases to try and describe witchcraft, just maybe through very sketchy interviews with local indigenous communities and so on. So it got quite bad. And in apartheid South Africa, we have the Witchcraft Suppression Act number 3 of 1957, which actually made things worse in the sense that it started prescribing the rules of engagement for communities around the matter of witchcraft. And in the process, incidentally, made it difficult for us as traditional healers to operate as well. So there are legal and criminal implications to how the word witchcraft is used to people that are being accused of being witches and professing to have supernatural powers. It got worse then in the late 80s to early 90s, during the height of the mass democratic struggle, in the sense that in provinces like Limpopo and the Eastern Cape, we had so-called witches being banned by irate communities and being accused of witchcraft. Same era that we saw other people being banned as well and necklaced and being accused of being apartheid spies. So, yes.
Sorry, I wanted to understand how much of that power is enjoyed by people who practice this phenomenon. And it's a question that's come. Someone says, yeah, but Clement, if really there are people who possess such supernatural powers, why wouldn't they use those powers to, for instance, advance their lives? I mean, or even win the lotto, or get a lot of money if that's what you wish for, or get the things that you wish for here in this dimension of life?
Yes. There is a great divide. There's quite a great divide between the good side, which is predominantly at least 80% of indigenous knowledge systems, and we are in the process of formalizing it through several tertiary institutions. So you would have make or break 80% of the good side of indigenous knowledge systems in Southern Africa. And then the bad side and the black sheep of the family inside that body of knowledge would be witchcraft. Witchcraft is a very complex phenomenon in the sense that it occurs in a certain context, inside certain hours. It obviously have to be quite private, and it is then difficult for witchcraft to form part and parcel of our normal daily lives in an open community, in an open sense, during business hours and during all the other economic activities and social activities that take place, especially during the day. It has a stigma of being a nocturnal operation mostly by virtue of its nature. And I think it would be naive to want to claim that if someone has enough witchcraft powers, then they should be trying to win the lotto or trying to manipulate the system of government. I think it's an outdated debate, that one. However, we have to be realistic and say part of our daily work as healers is to actually assist a whole lot of individuals and communities that have been subjected to all kinds of acts of propagation of bad energy, which inter alia includes witchcraft.
Okay, let's go to some WhatsApp voice notes because we've got some listeners sharing their experiences with us on 072 702 1702. You're listening to the first installment of our series, looking at things that science cannot explain, suggested by one of our listeners. And they asked us to start this series by talking about witchcraft. And I've been asking what your experiences are. Are you one of those that believe in this phenomenon? If yes, how do you even rationalize the existence of witchcraft versus science? How do you understand it?
Good morning, Clement. Good morning, 702. Clement, I don't believe in witchcraft. I'm living in it. I know it. I know when my body gets separated from my spirit, gets separated from my body, and I'm busy fighting faceless things that are roaming around in the yard where I stay. And I know who's responsible for it. I've been living like that ever since I was a child. I always thought that I had a gift of getting out of my body, like, astral projection type of a thing. But what surprised me is I couldn't control everything or anything. So only now lately, when we got into an argument, somebody said, I'll show you who I am. And a day after, all those years, things that I've experienced started happening. I've started getting out of my body. I've started being attacked by things that were talking to me and laughing at me. I'll remain anonymous, but I know witchcraft.
Clement, one of the questions that I always ask myself about, us Africans and I believe in the witchcraft. Why is it that we could not stop the colonizers from taking the land using witchcraft? They came, took the land from us. We were powerless. Witchcraft could not help us. Secondly, why is it that witchcraft can't help us to even break into banks and steal money if witchcraft is real? And why is it that witchcraft can't even help us from our white bosses who are oppressing us at the workplace? So witchcraft is a myth. And unfortunately, many of our people, and including learned ones, are believing in this thing called witchcraft. Moruti Rashani.
Good morning, Clement. I think I believe more in herbalists. So, since ancient times, as Africans, we had our own indigenous knowledge systems on how to heal ourselves, and obviously, similar to like how there are plants that are based in nature that can heal people, there are also plants that are basically poisonous and can poison someone, or they can cause someone to have a specific effect. So I honestly do believe that there are people who are very good herbalists, who are aware of these plants that are existing, and they use them. Obviously, some use them for good, others use them for bad. And hence why I think people believe so much in the concept of witchcraft, because it is science. I mean, if someone gives you something that can poison you and you ingest it, or you use it on your body, you will be affected by it. So it is actually science, especially when it's based with a herbalist. This is Koketso from Joburg.
Yeah, okay, Koketso, thank you. And thanks to all of you that have sent your WhatsApp voice notes. Godfrey, I suppose you heard the question there. Like, if there's really people who possess such power, why is it not being used for good? For instance, like someone said on the voice note line, why didn't we try use that power to fight the colonizers? It's similar to what I asked earlier on about, if you possess that power, why are you not doing it, using it to advance yourself in life? But there's a question I have here from Pierre, who is in Durban. It says, Clement, please ask Godfrey there, if you don't believe in witchcraft, does it still have power over you?
Yes. I think let's put the entire matter in context of witchcraft and how it operates in society. Remember, this is a force of evil that is operating at an opportunistic level. The reason I say that is that if you look at South Africa, we have enough traditional healers and prophets who are always cultivating a good energy to keep our communities and people safe. That goes for the spiritual space as well. So witchcraft is opportunistic. That is why for those people that purport to be perpetuating witchcraft, sometimes they have very bad experiences. There is a process in South Africa called Kofareha, where somebody goes out on a witchcraft expedition at night and they find themselves naked or whatever in someone's property or in some space, because we as healers are taking care of society in a broader context and promoting the good energies. So it is not as easy, firstly, to practice witchcraft. Secondly, however, in a lot of individuals are being subjected to witchcraft by specific people who are launching spiritual attacks on them. And it is our duty as healers to save those people from such wrath through herbal treatment and other preparations like that, as well as the medium of water with mostly our prophets and so on. We do a whole lot of processes, including a process called Tufemba, which is to exorcise people from bad spirits. Now, in pre-colonial Africa, witchcraft operated at a grand scale in certain communities where there were secret societies and communities that would practice witchcraft as a bigger unit. And I think if we're talking about robbing banks and winning the lotto, if we superimpose the two contexts of pre-colonial Africa before the arrival of the explorers and the missionaries, things happened. There are other examples in recent times. When I say recent times, in the last 30, 40 years, for example, if you follow the struggle for Mozambique, the independence of Mozambique from the Portuguese, there were mechanisms, I'm not saying that witchcraft, there were indigenous knowledge system mechanisms that were used in the field of battle to conquer the Portuguese. If I may cite an example, when the Portuguese were in armed conflict against the local Mozambican people led by the late President Samora Machel, there were instances when the Portuguese would go quite blurry in the field of battle because an entire platoon of Mozambican, Frelimo type combatants would turn into a mini field. So those are examples where indigenous knowledge systems, call it good or bad, call it witchcraft or the wiser side of indigenous knowledge systems, have been used successfully for a national cause.
Yeah.
I think with colonization and a situation where we have less and less cohesion amongst ourselves as a people, as an indigenous people, that power has died down of us operating as social units that can fight for a bigger cause. So remember, witchcraft is castigated. We cannot at any stage glorify it. It is a high-risk operation. Even when it's penetrating the spiritual space, it carries massive risk and stigma. That is why we find ourselves to this day that people that have not experienced the effects of witchcraft still do not believe in it because it sounds like a 007 movie. The theory behind it sounds quite fictitious. Whereas if we follow the path and the trajectory of indigenous knowledge systems, as much as it's the bad side of IKS, witchcraft is actually a science.
I'm gonna take a break and then do the news. Godfrey, if you don't mind, I'd like you to give us just 5 more minutes of your time. I've got a few WhatsApp voice notes I want to play. I've got 2 more questions for you, and then we'll wrap up our conversation just right after the news at 11 o'clock. It's 2 minutes now before 11.
This is Jade. She'll spend hours comparing almond milk and once made a spreadsheet just for sneakers. But when she found Santam, SA's leading short-term insurer that offers a range of cover options, from vehicle to building and home contents, even she didn't overthink it. The kind of freedom Santam gives you takes some getting used to. Speak to your broker. Santam, this is freedom. Santam is an authorized FSP, a licensed non-life insurer and controlling company for its group companies.
Selling your car shouldn't be a mission. We Buy Cars gets it. Life's short and time's precious. Get an offer online and sell your car within a day from wherever it suits you. It's really that simple with We Buy Cars. Shopping for your new ride? Discover thousands of vehicles online or in-store. We Buy Cars, South Africa's trusted way to buy and sell cars.
It's spring, SA, and here at DecoFern, we say it's time to say yes. Say yes to new friends. Yes to new adventures. Will you marry me?
Yes!
And definitely say yes to a few new things.
Welcome to DecoFern.
Say yes to awesome savings at the DecoFern Furniture Spring Sale, with up to 35% off on outdoor furniture and much more. In store now or at decofernsa.co.za.
Every wall tells a story. Now yours can be told with elegance, resilience, and colors designed to last. A creation rooted in heritage, perfected for today. The wait is over. The finest has arrived. Discover the finest, only at Chamberlain. Chamberlain, famous for hardware since 1903.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Bali Dlamini. ANC municipal councillors from across the country have gathered at the FNB Stadium today as part of preparations for the upcoming local government elections. The party is holding what it terms a roll call, where its councillors will account for their performance since the 2021 municipal elections. The gathering forms part of efforts to ensure its councillors remain aligned with the ANC's mandate. Speaking on the sidelines of the ANC's NEC meeting in Boksburg at the weekend, Secretary General Fikile Mbalula said this forms part of efforts to win back public trust.
We are expecting 6,690 of our councillors at the roll call together with our structures. The objective of the roll call is to introduce the service delivery infrastructure plan, which will have been adopted by the NEC.
He says the party continues in attempts to make up for lost ground after suffering massive electoral losses.
The President will give marching orders to councillors and their role in its implementation. Measurable, monitored plan after every 3 months. And where there are challenges in different municipalities, will be able to lead.
The Gauteng government will be roped in to assist Joburg Water in its fight against water leaks. The leaks are said to be contributing to the city's water woes, which have left many communities with dry taps in the recent months. Joburg Mayor Dada Morero has been briefing the media from the Alexandra Park Reservoir in Kensington on the water crisis today. Jabuli Lembata has more.
Joburg Mayor Dada Morero says the Minister of Water has been in communication with the Gauteng government to assist with closing off water leaks. This will happen parallel to the work that has already begun by Joburg Water to upgrade the infrastructure of reservoirs. Morero says they are on top of the situation of tackling the city's water crisis.
We are also going to be unveiling our master plan in terms of infrastructure refurbishment, which also includes pipe replacement, so that we can deal with the leaks. We have agreed last night also with the Minister of Water that Johannesburg will have a program on dealing with leaks.
He says another focus is to get water levels in the reservoirs to 50% to ensure consistent supply. Jabuli Lembata, Eyewitness News, Kensington.
We shift our focus to this now. Tshwane Mayor Nasiphi Moya has called on global leaders to pay closer attention to local governments. Moya made the comments on the final day of the U20 Mayors Summit in Sandton yesterday. Tshwane and Johannesburg co-hosted mayors from the G20 bloc to bring to the fore priorities they believe need to be addressed by cities across the globe. This is the first time the U20 Summit has been convening on African soil, positioning South African cities at the forefront of global urban dialogue. Moya says there needs to be better collaboration between all spheres of government for socio-economic challenges to be fully addressessed.
We have a cry that we've never received feedback from G20 leaders about our U20 communique. We are asking for feedback, but also are asking for a relationship. That we are not sub-governments, we are colleagues. We are colleagues that are in the coalface of service delivery. So we are saying in South Africa, in Africa, with all the mayors globally, we are available to work with our national governments.
To this now, Zulu monarch Mrs. Zuluka Zwelithini has challenged someone he has described as his detractor to a stick fight in an angry address to maidens during the annual Reed dance this weekend. The Zulu King singled out cultural analyst and Professor Musa Xulu during Saturday's event, accusing him of disrespect for his criticism of the royal house. He made the tongue lashing in front of thousands of maidens gathered at Emashobeni in northern KZN for the first time in the history of the long-standing tradition. Nukukhanya Mtambo has more.
It's understood Isilo Samabandla, King Misuzulu Zwelithini, was angered by Professor Musa Xulu's criticism of the decision to move the Reed dance from the Enyogeni Palace to his palace, Emashobeni. Millions of rands were recently spent renovating the old palace for cultural events, including a 140 million rand price tag on a new dome at the precinct. The Amazulu monarch previously defended the decision, describing the move as an attempt to establish his own legacy. While he says it's not a call to the Amazulu nation to attack Xulu, he added he was willing to go at it in a stick-fighting match with anyone who cast doubt on customs.
Hey, the nations are angry. We are angry. We will do anything to protect and preserve our cultures. Do you understand?
The king says Xulu's experience in academia doesn't qualify him to tell the monarch how to do his job. Nogukhanya Mtambo, Eyewitness News.
And in Turkey, an Ankara court is hearing a case into alleged vote buying that could tip over the leadership of the main opposition party. Critics say the case is a politically motivated attempt to undermine the country's oldest party, which won a huge victory in last year's local elections. Yesterday, large crowds gathered at Tanugan Square in defiance of that move. The CHP has denied the charges and has accused government of trying to stop its work as an opposition. Gold is trading at $3,643.94 an ounce. The rand is at 17.36 to the dollar, 23.54 to the pound, 20.38 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $66.99 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N12 as well as the R24 West between Barber Road and the Girilis interchange. This is due to road risk. There's also queuing traffic along the R21 South, approaching North Rand Road, coming out of the N12 exit. Please be on the lookout there.
The top story in EWN, ANC municipal councillors from across the country have gathered at the FNB Stadium today as part of preparations for the upcoming local government elections.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with Clement Manyathela
On 702.
Let's Walk the Talk, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app,
DSTV channel 856,
92.7 and 106 FM.
Seven minutes after 11 o'clock. Dumelang, welcome to the third and final hour of the Clement Manyathela Show. We started a new series in the past hour, looking at things that science can explain, and we started with a conversation about witchcraft, and Godfrey Madlalate, who is a qualified herbalist and traditional healer, has been guiding us through that conversation, even helping us understand what the laws say, how they've been crafted to deal with this issue of witchcraft. I thought I should keep him for 5 more minutes. I want to play some of your WhatsApps that came through. I've got 2 more questions that have come from some of you that I want him to respond to. So let's start with the WhatsApps.
Clement, we have the physical world and the spiritual world. So it looks like witchcraft is got to do with the spiritual world. And then there, not like everywhere currency will be rent. I think the currency of the witchcraft is paid. So, yeah, maybe they're enjoying when they accept pain on other people. I don't think those people are interested in making money. Not everything is about money.
Clement, in the 90s, there was this thing in Limpopo where old people were being killed for witchcraft, and the government sent the representatives there to talk to the communities to say, you know what, there is nothing like ubuloi. There's nothing like that. So people must stop killing old people thinking that they're witch. It's just, an old phenomenon that doesn't have proof. And this old man came up and said, Buloi habuyo. Do you think there's no buloi? Let me show you now. And the government representatives ran away. This is Penny from Forest.
How's Penny? So then they believe it then, right? So if they didn't believe that it exists, why are they running away? Godfrey, there's a question I got here from one of our listeners who wants to know. In fact, it's 2 questions. One, they want to know, how does one protect themselves so that they're not affected by witchcraft? And 2, how does one agree to be part of it? Because sometimes, someone may be young or maybe much older, and, they're often accused of, this person, may be part of it. And sometimes there are confessions. I mean, you often see sometimes these videos in communities where an old gogo confesses to having part of it. For instance, how do you get people, like for those who believe that there is witchcraft, how do you get people to be part of it and practice it? Like, where do they get the knowledge? Or is it something we don't understand? Because not all of them are actually understand even just like just the medicines or the plants, what's good, what's bad, and yet some of them would confess that they've been part of this thing.
Okay. Yes, thank you. Just to go back to your first question, how does one protect themselves from witchcraft? As South Africans, across the color line, we are a spiritual people. I think several pieces of research have proved that at least 80% of all South Africans believe in God or in a supernatural power, in a higher power. Irrespective of how it's labeled. I do then believe that through our interaction with our respective higher powers, for the lack of a better word, we do source of protection from an evil like witchcraft. So that is at the primary level. At the secondary level, traditional healers, for example, are very instrumental in protecting communities and individuals against spells, against sorcery, against witchcraft, through all kinds of African traditional medicine modalities and treatments, and as well through the medium of prayer with our prophets. So we are able to protect people that way. I've been practicing for 25 years, and when a client walks into the consulting room or a patient walks into the consulting room, I use the method of bones divination to check their energies. And this is where in certain instances, we find that certain patients are actually suffering from the effects of witchcraft. We, however, do not dwell in identifying the culprits. We do not dwell in castigating the culprits and leading an identity parade for them. We dwell on restoring the energy, the proper energy of that patient through the method of African traditional medicine. We treat them and we restore their energy. So, the whole process of steaming or bathing with certain herbs, or the whole process of ukpalaza or any of the other, or using some kind of incense or rimpepo to restore their energies, will protect them from that evil force. I think, let me just say before also I go to the second question, that people mustn't mislead others to say that witchcraft does not exist. I have spent the last 25 years dealing with a lot of cases of people that have been bewitched, or who have been, bad energy has been sent their way. There's a lot of things that can go wrong with an individual that has been bewitched, from mania and mental illness to psychological illness to a whole array of other illnesses, including high blood pressure, diabetes, and what we normally consider to be clinical disease can manifest through witchcraft. And this is what baffles the doctors in theater and in consulting rooms when they have a patient that is manifesting with clinical symptoms that cannot be treated by clinical means. Okay. So let us not mislead people to say witchcraft does not exist, and therefore, if I do not believe in it, it will not affect me. Wait till it hits you, or wait till you have sleepless nights and chronic insomnia that even your strongest painkillers cannot address.
And then quickly, so on how do people then agree to be part of it?
I think witchcraft has got levels, from my understanding. So some individuals are groomed in their own families, they are groomed in their own homes to be part of it. Others are groomed by choice and association with certain individuals that might want to mentor them in that direction, if I may use that word. But really, witchcraft is a direct choice to follow the path of evil, and against a world which is actually full of good and good intentions. So it's a destructive force in society.
Godfrey, thank you so much, and thank you for agreeing to give us your extra time. I've got so many questions that listeners have, but unfortunately we're out of time. So check out the podcast. Maybe some of what you're asking has already been dealt with by Godfrey Madlalate, qualified herbalist and traditional healer who's been guiding us through this conversation. Up next, after the break, is a conversation about suicidal thoughts. How do we cope with that? We will be speaking to Kefilo Mojapelo on our Family Matters feature.
Saddle up for springtime success with Hollywood Bets. Experience the thrill of the turf and take a shot at a share of 100,000 Rand in cash and betting vouchers. All you have to do is bet 50 Rand or more on any horse racing meeting online or visit your nearest branch to enter. Spring into action and bet now for your shot at exciting rewards. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
The South African Future Trust Summit is fast approaching. This premium entrepreneurial showcase will return to the Sandton Convention Centre on the 5th and 6th of November, with international and local speakers sharing groundbreaking insights from their entrepreneurial journeys. It's an unmatched opportunity to network with like-minded entrepreneurs, innovators, investors, and changemakers, with 2,000 plus delegates and over 200 exhibitions all under one roof. Come and experience the extraordinary world of thriving entrepreneurs and business owners. Avoid missing out. Get your tickets now for 1,800 Rand each for the 2 days at the summit. SouthAfricaFutureTrust.org in partnership with 702.
If you want to know about the heart and art of jazz, look no further than the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz Festival, a grand ensemble of over 50 world-class acts across 4 stages for 3 whole days. That's right, from the 26th, 27th and 28th of September. The Sandton Convention Centre will be demure and sophisticated as the fine Standard Bank Joy of Jazz 2025 takes you deep into the heart, the art and splendour of jazz. Take me there. Book your seat via Ticketmaster now.
702 Family Matters.
90 minutes after 11 o'clock on our Family Matters feature this morning, we are discussing suicidal thoughts. Because as people think thousands of thoughts every day, sometimes thoughts about death can make an appearance more than often. In fact, it happens more often than we expect. You know, there are many people out there that have had suicidal thoughts at some point in their lives. Sometimes those thoughts are fleeting. Sometimes they are stronger urges and fantasies that are promising relief from what seemingly is an unbearable pain, right? Feeling suicidal is not a character defect, and it doesn't mean that you're crazy or you're weak or you're flawed. It only means that you have more pain than you can cope with right now. Many kinds of emotional pain can lead to thoughts of suicide, and the reasons for this pain are unique to each one of us, and the ability to cope with that pain differs from person to person. And I think that's what I hope we can take away from this conversation, how to deal with the pain before we even have the thoughts, but also once you've got these suicidal thoughts, how to cope with them. And I'd like you to share your experience with us if you have had suicidal thoughts. You've got a child or a parent, a friend, a loved one who has had suicidal thoughts. How did you deal with it as a family, as a partner? How did you deal with it yourself if you are the one that experienced these kind of thoughts? Give us a call on 011-883-0702 or send a WhatsApp to share your experience on 072-702-1702. Kefilo Mojapelo is a social worker, psychosocial well-being and employee wellness practitioner who will guide us through this chat. Thank you, Kefilo, for making time for us. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement, and morning to the listeners. Thank you so much for having me.
How common are these suicidal thoughts?
Yeah, very common, and it's said that many of the people go through it. And it's you might be sitting there thinking it's you alone. It's actually a lot of people that go through it.
And what often is the source of those thoughts? So, because it's easy for us to have painful experiences that we encounter, whether you are going through a divorce or you've just lost a job or you've had a fight with your family, anything could happen that makes you sad or that gives you a lot of pain that you probably think is unbearable. From your experience, the cases you've dealt with, what is often that source? Is it just merely the challenges people face on a daily and the pain they feel, or is there something deeper than that?
So maybe let's start here and unpacking anxiety and fully understanding it. What is anxiety? Anxiety is a feeling of dread resulting from a repressed feelings, memories, or experiences. And most of the time, it's a state of tension motivating us to do something. So the motivation is either to take one's life or to harm or to actually change for the positive. So all of us take it differently. Nonetheless, most of it results from a lot of it. What I realize in my practice, it's when there is a loss through death in a family or a loved one or a close family member. That's the most leading one. And of course, when some people, what I realize as well, what comes to my practice, is when people are unable to advance in their lives. Either way, it can be through finding employment or breaking the barriers and financial strain as well. So a lot of those are what causes people to have suicidal thoughts.
And a lot of people seemingly feel ashamed or even afraid to admit having suicidal thoughts. Is it because we really don't understand it, right? Kifila, I mean, if someone comes to you and says, oh, I've been having suicidal thoughts, either one responds with, okay, let's pray about it, or, oh, you'll be fine, or be positive, think, the brighter side of life, or they start arranging a therapist for you. Why is it that there are many people who go through this and they don't talk about it? Because, I mean, I've seen families, even in the news, people who take their own lives, who die by suicide, and their families would say, we didn't even know that this loved one of ours was going through this and that. And maybe part of it is because we really just don't understand it. We don't grasp it. We don't know how to respond to it. Why is it that people are full of so much shame and fear, and they're afraid to admit having suicidal thoughts?
Yeah, you've nicely said it's the feeling of shame that one undergoes. And a lot of times people hide and they just experience that when you are going through anxiety, you individualize it so much that you stay in the corner. I've had people that don't even wake up, people that don't even bath. So most of the time is that process where you really literally close yourself up and you don't see people because you don't have any energy to show up. So unfortunately, people isolate themselves a lot of time and allow themselves to feel that individually. They feel like, I don't want to bother anyone. This is what I feel, and they individualize so much. So unfortunately, that's the unfortunate part about anxiety and depression and this having this overwhelming feeling, this repressed emotions, and this energy blocks to lack of showing up. So unfortunately, we close ourselves up because we feel like you don't want to bother people. More than that, you are going through something that blocks you into that corner. So a lot of time you feel shameful to tell people that you are going through that because you don't want to be judged. But number one. Number two, you wonder what somebody else's opinion will be about your experience. So some of the people don't understand, for example, if you're going through something and you have a job, but you're going through such a major financial maybe problems. People don't understand. They always say, but be thankful. Oh, but you have this. Why are you? So it's all those that you don't understand people's experiences. They project what is going on and tell you about your life without understanding your life from your own subjective view or from your own view. So that's the difficulty part where you have to now make people understand that. And so that's what people dread.
Yeah. But then, so why does suicide sometimes feel like the only option for people in deep emotional pain? There was a question, where is it? Someone also tweeted me and said, please can you also ask from what Kifilo has dealt with, are there people who often say they hear voices, or this is purely from a point of, I'm just in so much pain that I don't think I can survive it anymore. Like waking up every day and feeling this way. I just need to leave. Yes,
it's so sad. So yes, Clement. So there's a number of, with hallucinations, it could be another psychological disorder. However, yes, some people do say while going through depression and anxiety experiences those to say, I'm hallucinating, I'm hearing voices, I'm hearing this. So it could be a number of psychological illnesses that come handy while you're going through that. And it's hence I'm saying you're going through one thing, and it's the matter of thought. It's the thought that are going through something. So normally I deal with it using cognitive behavioral therapy or rational emotive behavioral therapy. That's where now you look at the interplay between somebody's cognitions or thoughts and their behavior and action. So you just and their cognitions and emotions, you just unpack that so that you can understand what are you interpreting of, say something happened, you lost a loved one, or there's an activating event. When that happens, how are you interpreting that? How are you making sense of that? What is the meaning-making mechanisms that you undergo through that process? So that is the pinnacle of it all in therapy. That's what we focus on, so that we understand from Clement's perspective, from your way of mental processes, how are you making sense of everything in your life? So in that way, that's where we unpack it, fully understanding your thinking and your interpretations around that. And then from there, we identify if there is any cognitive error or any cognitive distortions that you are applying into that meaning making or into those evaluations that you'd be making. Because whatever you think affects your emotions and affects how you show up or your actions. So the trick is right between those three things that we look at.
Yeah. Let's go to some WhatsApps on 072 702 1702.
Hello, Clement. It's Donald, man. The thing you are talking about right now, I'm talking about things of yesterday. My sister trying to commit suicide. He overdosed the medication yesterday. But fortunately, she's still in hospital right now, but she's recovering. And then talk to her early in the morning. She's still recovering, and then this thing is very painful. I am her brother right now. I'm in Tembisa, but I think I don't know, but I just call her right now so that she can listen to you right now. How can she cope with that? Yeah, it's very painful, man. I don't know what happened. Yeah, but yeah, that's how it is.
Oh, yeah, I'm so sorry to hear that, and I hope your sister gets the strength that she needs. Kifile, how do you support people like that who have attempted and it didn't work? You know, I can only imagine the guilt or the embarrassment or the shame that comes with having survived, and also maybe the pain that it causes the family. So, I mean, it just worsens the situation for the person who attempted it. How do you support them?
Exactly. So normally in that situation, Clement, we involve the family. We have those family conferences and we sit with them so that they understand where this person is and they minimize all judgment by all means. So it would be best to do that in this kind of situation for this person.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, I really hope that she'll be fine. We'll take more of the WhatsApps and calls after the latest in Eyewitness News headlines. It's 11:30. Maki, good morning.
Thanks, Clement. Good morning. The Umkhonto weSizwe Party says it's reckless for the Madlanga Commission into alleged police corruption to commence this week while the party's case against its establishment is still pending. The commission is due to start its public hearings on Wednesday while the MK Party and its president, Jacob Zuma, are set to argue their case before the Gauteng High Court in Pretoria on Thursday. The party claims this is a calculated move to preempt and undermine the court challenge into the legality of the commission. President Cyril Ramaphosa has reiterated his concerns over a major skills gap in the public service, which continues to be plagued by corruption. Ramaphosa says this is why they are strengthening the professional foundations of the country's public service, which is often criticized for poor service delivery. Writing in his latest newsletter, Ramaphosa has also acknowledged that there are dedicated public servants in the country. And in Nepal, the new interim Prime Minister has unveiled her first ministers as the country seeks to restore order after deadly anti-corruption protests. Demonstrations sparked by a social media ban and feeding into long-standing economic woes led to the deaths of 72 people. Those are the headlines. This Eyewitness News and more at midday or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, travelling on the N12 as well as the R24 West bumper-to-bumper traffic between Barber Road and the Gludies interchange. That's due to roadworks taking place along that route. And if you're travelling towards Sandton, an accident has been reported on the M1 South. It's right near Marlborough Drive. It's causing delays coming out of the Bakru interchange, about a 15-minute hold-up there. And in Marysville, some delays along the N12 West between the Reading interchange and Kumaro Street. So please be on the lookout there and continue driving with care. I'm Amo Ramela, otherwise Karabojali. Will have your next traffic update at the top of the hour. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
At the heart of global conversations shaping the future, Africa's voice matters more than ever. As Africa's largest bank by assets and lead sponsor of the B20 Summit, Standard Bank Group is proud to spotlight the continent's growth, partnerships, and potential on the world stage. Through informed dialogue and powerful partnerships, Standard Bank is driving sustainable growth where it matters most. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
Imagine having the chance to ensure a blood cancer patient's journey is made that much easier. This positive impact can be someone's reality once you make a financial contribution to help make the process of recruiting potential stem cell donors easier. Give hope this Sunflower Month by making a monetary donation at www.dkms-africa.org. Your contribution will give hope to patients who are awaiting their life-saving transplant.
To walk the talk is to turn words into meaningful actions. And it's what we at 702 are committed to doing every day. We are also committed to following the rules set out by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission's Code of Conduct, to give you balanced programming, fair comments, and accurate news. But if we stumble along the way and you feel we are not living up to the code, let us know on comment@702.co.za. And if after that you're still not happy, you can direct your complaint in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission. Email bccsa@nabsa.co.za. For more, visit bccsa.co.za.
702
Family Matters.
25 minutes before 12 o'clock on our Family Matters feature this morning, we're discussing suicidal thoughts and how to deal with that. They're obviously passive, they are active suicidal ideation. And I wonder if you have experienced any of those, and is there any that you took seriously or a thought that you didn't take seriously? Give us a call on 011-883-0702 to share your experience with us. We're taking your WhatsApps as well on 072-702-1702. Kefilo Mujapelo is a social worker, psychosocial well-being and employee wellness practitioner who's guiding us through this conversation. Got a message here on the WhatsApp line. Kefilo, someone says, "Hi Clement, let me remain anonymous. I was first misdiagnosed with bipolar as a teen, and later when I was 21 I was diagnosed with temporal lobe epilepsy. So I've been living with mental illness all my life. Now recently at the age of 39 I've been diagnosed with ADHD and autism level 1. I've struggled academically and it all made sense. So I dealt with depression and suicidal thoughts because the noise wouldn't hush in my head. And now I'm still suicidal because it's too quiet and I don't know how to deal with this person. So I get exhausted, so exhausted." Okay, that's a message there from Anonymous. Anonymous, I really hope that there was just more meat to that, so that we get a better understanding of what you mean when you say it's now quiet and you get exhausted with this person. Are you referring to yourself? If you don't mind, please can you maybe send a WhatsApp or send us another message just explaining further on that, or you can tell us to give you a call if we can. You can call anonymously and you can share your story with us in full. So Kifilwe, let's look at, so when people are in a situation like this where they experience these suicidal thoughts, what advice do you have? What's the best thing that they should do, or the first thing that they should do? Is it best to contact a therapist? Is it best to speak to your pastor? Maybe speak to a loved one in your family? But as I said, a lot of them don't want to do that because then the responses that sometimes are given to such people are not so helpful.
Exactly. And the first thing I would say would definitely be to call a therapist or call SADC, because it's a toll-free number. There's WhatsApp numbers that are there, or us as therapists. We are there. That's what we are there for, because a lot of work, you might not be able to do it on your own or unpack your own thoughts for yourself. So I get engaged in a lot of metacognition, your thoughts about your thoughts. Because sometimes once a thought is in your head, you just ride along with the thought without unpacking it, and you think it's what it should be there. Some thoughts, I always say we must keep our mind, we must be like security guards on our minds. Literally check in what goes in and what goes out and how it affects you. So we tend to just let it ride, and you think, for example, if you're thinking I'm useless, it just goes through it, and maybe you failed on an interview, you just take it and you go without really unpacking what happened. Yes, whatever that had happened might have happened, but what are you saying about what happened? And are you, I'll just maybe just go through some few cognitive distortions that people go through. So one of it could be arbitrary inferences, where somebody's making conclusions without any supporting evidence to say, are you really useless? And then you go back to say, give me incident. I'm not going to convince anyone to say you're not useless and try to make you feel good or positive. No, I take you through the process of it to say, let's see, give me evidence that shows that you are useless. Or the opposite, and then we go through both. What if you are feeling that you are useless? Let's go through it. And if you're not feeling like you're not useless, you also go through that process to unpack your thoughts, because they are there. I don't try to say switch off and then switch on the positive thoughts. That's not possible. But it is within the process that you go through that you challenge your own thoughts. Hence, I'm saying metacognition. Some of it also engages through dichotomous thinking, where they are categorizing experiences as either or extremes. It's either this or that, none in between. Some are labeling and mislabeling things to say, I am useless, I am this, on the basis of their either imperfections, and then now they are identifying themselves as that. Some we could say we are personalizing things or overgeneralizing. Some we can say there's selective abstraction, where you make conclusions based on isolated part of things. You take there and you take there. There's no linear process that leads to whatever. So that is my work, where I come in to identify those errors, those cognitive errors, to say this is where you are, and then I take you through the process until eventually now the cognitive work is done, and we are able to now at least release any energy block where there was, and then now you can show up.
Let's go to Dipkloof. Richard, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Clement.
Sure.
Good show as always.
Thank you.
And thanks for the conversation as well. I'm a Christian man, firstly, so I'm coming from that angle, and I understand that this is a very serious problem that we are facing. I just want to share a little bit of my experience so that I can maybe help. If not, I'm also using it to help myself. So I've been through depression, which I believe is a first stage before you even get to suicidal thoughts, because one must be unhappy with something, become depressed, and then obviously then get to the stage where you become suicidal. And the first thing is, and I want to mention that I'm a Christian man, I rely a lot on scripture, so scriptures help me. But in my case, a very good coping mechanism for me, and to be short, is that I sometimes get out of my own life and get into another life that I would like to be. So I sort of in my mind play positive thoughts like, I've got this, I'm okay, my life is fine, but all that is in my mind. It's more like a fantasy. And that helps me a lot, because it takes me out of that phase that I'm in when I'm depressed about things, and for a few good hours I become happy and my mood changes. And even though that is not real in life, but because I'm imagining it and I'm sort of picturing myself in it, I then sort of have a landing space where I can say, for a few good hours I've been happy in my mind, I've been thinking this, and when reality hits, when I realize my real situation, at least it doesn't happen too often, so that I can get to a depression state. I just wanted to share that.
And in terms of the thoughts themselves, Richard, is it from a point of the pain is just so much that you just struggle to see yourself just living with that pain, or what form does those thoughts come in?
It's when you remember when things don't happening the way. You don't have money for petrol, you don't have this in your life, your school fees for the children is outstanding, you've got issues with your personal life, and all those things are real. And when so long as you keep thinking about them, your mood changes, your mood becomes wrong, and then you end up in that space where you feel like life is not worth it. So that's where I get sometimes. But then I get out of that by really, and it's a mental issue. And as I said, with the scriptures where you read texts that talks about how you can pray and pray to God so that you can get out of the space. But fantasizing, it's been for me the best. And I know it's somebody says, what? You can't fantasize in this world, but it helps me.
It helps.
It really helps me. Yeah.
Okay.
I just wanted to share that.
Thank you for sharing that, Richard in Diepsloot. I really appreciate it. Karabo, you calling us from Johannesburg, you had sent us that message I was reading earlier on about, what you've struggled with, the epilepsy, the depression, and you were saying that, you're still suicidal because it's too quiet and you just don't know how to deal with this person. What do you mean by that?
Hi, Clement. I was tapping in a rush.
Yeah.
Well, I was diagnosed at first 16 by an MD, so it wasn't a psychologist, it was an MD, said bipolar. And then at 21, it was a psychiatrist, they said temporal lobe. But then because family, we don't believe in those things, they said there's no such thing as temporal lobe epilepsy. So temporal lobe epilepsy, every time I have a seizure, it doesn't show on the outside. It's more internal type of situation. So I would have a seizure and it's followed by a deep depressive time, like a short, whether it's long or whether it's short. And I would have voices in my head. I would have conversations with myself and all of that, be all over the place. Now, because I had ADHD, but I didn't know then, I would be all over the place and all of that. So I never took any medication for the temporal lobe epilepsy. I was in and out of psych hospitals. I would take my medication then, and then when I'm out, not take it anymore. And then 2 weeks ago, I was diagnosed with ADHD and autism. And ADHD medication, it calms everything, basically. So your thoughts, your way you're working, I'm trying not to cry. It rectifies a lot. So now it becomes so quiet, that your creative, what you thought were your creative thoughts, your old creative thoughts or your old conversations or that little hype that you used to have then is now quiet, and you have to deal now with this new structured person, and it becomes exhausting. I'm a Christian woman myself, and I depend a lot on scripture, and I ask myself, if God, you brought all of these tools to help me, how am I suffering so much? So you sit and you're like, I'd love to just sleep and never wake up. And it's not because you don't have hope in your tomorrow. It's not because you don't have. I deal well with death. When people pass away, I will take the leadership role. I deal with disappointment. I failed a lot in my life because of my schooling. I never got to finish school. I deal well with all of those things. But then when you look back and you're like, all of these things I had to go through, and I lost out on, and now I'm dealing with now this person, and now I have to put everything together, and it's tiring, you know.
Oh,
yeah, that's what I meant.
Thank you so much, Karabo, and I appreciate you trusting us, for you to even be on the line to share more on what you shared on the WhatsApp line around how exhausting it is for you and why you've had these suicidal thoughts. I appreciate you, and I really hope and pray that you will be okay, and that you'll get to a point where you're not so overwhelmed emotionally, where you don't think it's possible for you to actually be okay with this life, even with the challenges that you face, okay with it for the next day or for the next month or for the next couple of years. Thank you for sharing your story with us, Karabo, in Johannesburg. It's 14 minutes before 12.
After a short migration, the family arrives at the premier resort, rich in food, drink, and entertainment. The young, freed from classroom captivity, head straight for Kids Club and the safety of the herd. The adult male meanders to the scuba center, while the matriarch basks by the pool.
Book your resort escape to Knysna, East London, Scottborough, or Sunny Pass at premierhotels.co.za.
Year in, year out, we're fixing tires faster than a Formula One pit crew. My team is on top of things like tire whisperers. If an unforeseen accident were to happen in my workshop, at least I've got My Way business insurance to keep the wheels turning.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's and standard rates apply. My Way. Live your way.
Medical care, like music, needs continuity, a steady rhythm and pattern. Patients attended to on time, medication taken as prescribed. Cut the rhythm, and it falls apart. Right now, global funding cuts are restricting access to healthcare. With your support, Doctors Without Borders can continue to provide medical care to communities worldwide. Because medicine, like music, only works when uninterrupted. Doctors Without Borders, we go there.
After a magical sold-out debut in KwaZulu-Natal this past May, Jeremy Loops and Ladysmith Black Mambazo are bringing their groundbreaking collaborative show, Echoes Between Us, to Johannesburg this September for a limited run at the iconic Teatro at Monte Cassino. 702 has 2 tickets for the concert on Friday, the 19th of September, and here's an opportunity for you to win those tickets. So for your chance to win, you can WhatsApp us a voice note on 072 702 1702, responding to this very, very simple question. When was the Echoes Between Us debut show between Ladysmith Black Mambazo and Jeremy Loops held? So when was their debut show held? You can give us a month. The WhatsApp line is 072 702 1702. Do it now to win these tickets for the concert on the 19th of September, this Friday.
702.
Family Matters.
11 minutes before 12 o'clock. Let's continue with your calls. John, you're calling us from the Val. Good morning.
Hey, Clement, how are you?
Sure, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. Listen, I think I hear what people are saying that no, think positive thoughts, think this and that. I don't think it's that easy. I had OCD that actually 2005. Negative thoughts that turned out to be depression. And then suicide thoughts were like, I think I attempted 3 times back then. And when I went, I was diagnosed that it's chemical imbalance. So chemical imbalance, it means that there's nothing that your mind can say. You can think positive thoughts that you want, but because your chemicals are not balanced in your head, it's going to be that way. So now I lived with it, but I got medicated. I was fine. Now again this year, it came back again. I had some traumatic event happening. Yeah. It came back again, and I attempted this year once, and then I went back to psychiatrist to be put back into medication. But I was driving home, and these thoughts, you cannot do anything about it. Yeah, I don't care. People saying to me, "You've got a good job, you've got cars, you've got this, you've got that. Why would you want to kill yourself?" They don't understand. It's nothing that you can do. This thing, it's that's why it's called mental illness. You know. So I just drove into the oncoming traffic not 2 months ago. And I don't know how that truck missed me, because I just wanted to get in front of this truck. I don't know how. I just heard "oh," and that's it. But I was not dead. I was very disappointed. But then that's when I then went straight to. So think all the positive thought that you want. If it's mental illness, it needs to be attended accordingly, or else you will think them and still kill yourself. So people should not be confused by saying, no, look at what is wrong. No, it's got nothing to do with all those things. I wanted to kill myself having a lot of money in my account. It just has got nothing to do with those things.
Yeah, sure. And then when you see a psychiatrist, John, that normally helps you when you take the medication to balance those chemicals.
Yes,
All
because
right.
the psychiatrist is the same guy that I saw 20 years ago. I don't know if it's 20, but it's the same guy that I saw. So I came back, I said, I'm back again. And then he knows my history, and then we sat down with him. Then, listen, within a week, I felt such difference. And now I'm in medication. Even now I'm okay. I haven't had even a single thought. I'm fine. I'm on medication.
Yeah, John, thank you so much for your call. Thank you for sharing that with us. Puo, you're in Boxburg. Hi.
Hi, Clement, and your guest. Please, may I please ask from the practitioner that if maybe you respond negatively to a person who tells you that I want to or I will commit suicide, does it help or does it make things worse? Because I'll make you an example. I have a relative, a male child. So he was the last born in the family. He always been pampered from childhood until to the point where he was aware that he's actually pampered. Because the parents know how they tend to treat such. So one day he said to his father, I will commit suicide. He had lost his job, and then he felt like, and he was doing a good job as a chemical, whatever. And then, how the father responded. The father said to him, go and commit your suicide and don't even tell me about it. He never committed it. Oh, please, Apila. Actually, I know what I said. I said, sometimes these people, I'm not being ugly. It's like attention-seeking syndrome. When they attention, they'll say, I commit suicide. Because now the problem is, those who are left behind are the ones who are left with the pain and the societal eye that says, one day. What's wrong with walking? Barefoot for that matter.
Yeah, no, Puo, in Boxburg, thank you for your call. Suppose the question there is, how do we react to people who tell us that they want to commit suicide? Kefilwe, I'm sure you've heard this many times, that sometimes these people are just seeking attention. If you tell them go do it, they're actually not ever going to do it.
They say that, and the sad part is that you don't want to risk it and say go, because they might actually go. So it's tricky, and I think some you can see, but I don't know. Well, only when they come to therapy, you can see to say what was, because now we are unpacking. But I would say if you want to respond, don't be that blunt and say go. Maybe if you are going to say that, can you at least unpack it to say, but what's happening? Why would you want to, as a parent or as a whatever, because you'd be hearing that, can they try to unpack? Because you don't know what a person is going through. You might think they are cared for and they're okay, but you don't know at what point are they in their life, what is happening intrapersonally, or what did they come across which impacted them how. So don't risk it and say go. I hear her to say he or she never went, but would you rather risk it and say go and the person exactly go? Because some they might go because they wanna to say, oh, they don't even care, because that's where you don't know what state they are at.
Yeah.
So let's not risk it and say that. Let's rather unpack and say, take a person to therapy if you think they are now maybe seeking they are just is an attention seeking strategy. Take them to therapy at least just to unpack a lot of things then that's going on in their life at that point in time.
Yeah. Okay, and then I've got some messages here. Hi, Clement. I'd like to remain anonymous. I think about suicide several times a day. I suffer from depression and anxiety. I recently lost my job, which makes me feel even more than a failure. I don't see a way out, and I'm afraid that I am going to do it. I just haven't decided when. Yo, another one says, Clement, my dad didn't have the thoughts only. He actually went and executed them. He committed suicide back in 2013, apparently due to financial issues. That was a week before my matric final examination. It was really, really a hurtful experience. Another one says, hey, Clement, Tabang here. I'm speaking from personal experience through attempts of suicide. Clement, sometimes when looking at the situation and the way it has impacted you, you find out that there's no way out, and the only solution you have is to take your own life and be out of misery because the pain or situation is beyond measures and you feel like you no longer can't handle it. Let me wrap up with this one that says, hi, Clement, I'd like to remain anonymous. I was first misdiagnosed. It's the one that we read earlier, and Karabo did call us about that. Any last words, Kefile, to people who are really experiencing these thoughts, or maybe even parents or loved ones who can see that they've got children or their loved ones who seem to be thinking about suicidal thoughts? How do they deal with that?
One thing that I can say, Clement, is to say, today it might look like there's no hope, there's nothing. But believe you me, there's always hope. And that's what people never see a way out, unfortunately, when you're going through such a deep depression and anxiety. But I can assure you there's a way out. So I can just put myself out there and say, those people are allowed to call me. I don't mind giving your listeners 3 of them or 2 of them free sessions, Clement, so that they at least reach out to somebody. So that there's always a way out. You don't see it because you are closed up by the situation in your life. And another thing, again, going back to somebody who said they lost a job and they feel like there's no sense of worth. Yeah. One other technique, just shortly, that I love going to is existentialism. To say, what are you attaching your meaningfulness to or your life to? Am I this because I have money in my bank? Am I a person only when I'm working? So I like it, taking it back to say, who are you without all these things? Have you went back to unpack, or at least write your own life philosophies, so that when things find you like this, loss of job and all these life atrocities, they find your mind at a better state, where there's certain philosophies that you live by.
Yeah. Oh, Kefilo, thank you so much for that. Kefilo Mujapi, a social worker, a psychosocial well-being and employee wellness practitioner. If you are one of the 2 or 3 that you can give free, psychology or therapy session to, contact us on 011-883-0702. We'll get you in touch with her.
All cars are designed to move. A Mazda is crafted to move you. Every line, every detail, form in motion, beauty with purpose. So that when you drive, you connect. Car and driver become one. One rhythm. Builds, holds, breaks free. The feeling will find you. Mazda. Wonder awaits.
Insurance pulls you in. Pineapple pulls you under. Insurance. Pineapple. Insurance. Pineapple.
Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
Big dreams, small budget? No problem. With Prime Media Credit, your business can be on 947, 702, KFM 94.5 and Cape Talk today, and pay later. Flexible finance, maximum impact. Email advertise@primemedia.co.za. Prime Media Credit, powered by Bridgement.
All right, we gave you an opportunity earlier on to win tickets to the Echoes Between Us. It's a collaboration between Jeremy Loops and Ladysmith Black Mambazo, and we asked you when their debut show was, and we've got the winner who sent us a WhatsApp voice note.
Hi Clement, it was held in May 2025 in Balito, KwaZulu-Natal. The debut the debut between Jeremy Loops and Lady Smith. So.
Oh, congratulations to you. You've won 2 tickets to the concert happening on the 19th of September. And with that, we wrap up the Monday edition of the Clement Manyathela Show. Thank you so much for listening. Mendy Winner coming up after the news. Have a beautiful day, my friends. Bye-bye.
This is EWN.
Good afternoon, I'm Kim Malapo. We begin in the south of Johannesburg, where the ANC's national leadership has promised intervention in some of the country's underperforming municipalities, where its members are deployed. Thousands of ANC councillors from across the country have gathered at the FNB Stadium in Soweto